#1, already a really sweet Viper wall that's going to help them get some market control. It's going to be a fist fight for B main control and potentially a split to B later.
And already we're seeing some early aggression from Koi over to B main.
What is that?
cNed through the smoke. Now that's the first kill of VCT EMEA 2023, everybody.
cNed kicks it off. These two teams playing, yeah, for the season, playing for everything, but also for the first win in the Coliseum. It's going to be a lot of fun as Wolfen tries to fight a little bit into A main. NAVI are still spread out. They've got the numbers advantage. Now they can try to collect themselves and maybe broach their way into a split A hit.
Yeah, quite a pivot already now towards this A site. Obviously, there's two players holding out onto short, but it's some early impact. Just Wolfen not afraid to take these fights. Oh, and this could be quite impactful. Caught with his pants down. That's the first pick going their way, but obviously traded, leaving starxo to fend for this A site alone, which he does end up falling, putting NAVI in the front seat. koldamenta by himself, trying to find some kills, but up against the three, it's just too damn difficult. NAVI with first blood.
NAVI get it done to kick things off here, and what a way for that to happen. cNed with a kill through smoke, and the rest trading out the kills, watching out for the Wolfen re-aggress into mid. NAVI shut that one down. I still want to see, like, what did he even have some spam? No, just threw a wall and a smoke.
Yeah.
Looked like absolutely nuts. But
just
then also the reaction there after his teammate dies, instantly swinging over. It's a very good way to kick off this first map.
It is indeed. Oh, it's so good to have these teams here in the EMEA. We saw them in lock-in, but not against each other, right?
Right.
Obviously, Koi, we've only seen them play one match, which you can't blame them for dropping against NRG, right? Previous Optic Core, some of the best, well, one of the best teams in the entire world.
Tough competition for sure.
But NAVI had a quite deep run.
Yeah, they absolutely did, and eventually falling to Fnatic.
Who won the entire thing.
Who won the entire thing? That's the only team they could lose to. So
exactly.
They've got a lot to say for themselves, I think, a lot to sort of play for. Again, this is that similar Viper wall, and I think from NAVI, what we're going to see a lot on their defensive side, once again, trying to play through this wall, maybe get a flash later on after the info you gather from Wingman, the mosh pit and the C4, the fragment from KO, there's nowhere to go. That's a nasty combo.
Doesn't get more uncomfortable than that, that's for sure. Sheydos loses his head as soon as he's able to rip it apart very early. But of course, with one defending the site and of course lesser weaponry on Koi, you can't expect too much from him, apart from maybe some damage that the shorty can perhaps do, and that's what starxo looking for, entering the smoke. cNed putting him to bed, and I'm pretty sure that's all she wrote.
Should be pretty short work here. Honestly, the one thing I'm wondering with this NAVI comp is they do lack a little bit in terms of the overall information, right? They do have some tools, but they don't have that typical killjoy you'd see on the map, maybe a Fade or a Sova on the opposite side. So there are options potentially for Koi to try and find flanks. The unfortunate reality, though, of Ascent is that going for like the big flanks through spawn just takes you so long. So you oftentimes end up seeding almost the entire site.
Yeah, and as we're entering now to the Logitech Power Up round of this game, we've got obviously some guns coming in. This is where the interesting part of this match starts. We get to see some rifle play, and that's what we're all about. Now, we saw Fnatic shaping the meta, haven't we? When it comes to how you buy up
light armor,
half shields, you know, galore.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm interested to see how these teams adapt to it.
We're already seeing it, right? 4 light armors, and a lot of this was like the Sheriff buys in the last round, which more teams are going to go for Sheriffs, Marshals, these types of things, because going for light armor just sort of guarantees you to have rifles almost every single round of the game. NAVI had a couple back in round number 2 that are going to carry over, and it's not your typical bonus round, right, where you would save on the players that maybe didn't have a gun. No, we're going to have very good firepower coming through from NAVI here.
I was a little bit concerned there, not going to lie. Angel was very far forward towards that A site. And, you know, a lot of people were sort of talking about the first deaths he had in lock-in.
Yeah, he does like to take those early fights. We'll see if it ends up happening. cNed's been able to lodge himself in A main. Really good position, but not quite able to find that first kill. Just going to escape with the paranoia, the smoke, and the dash. A lot committed just to get him out of the spot, and he falls immediately.
Double-sided push onto this A site. koldamenta holding on, doubles it up, and now Koi with a clear advantage. NAVI, how do you enter through here? You've still got the assistance of SUYGETSU on the sideline, but it's Zyppan and Angel to find the following kills. SUYGETSU alive, he's got the spike, but 30 seconds to work.
Yeah, he's going to pivot all the way back over to the B site. This alarm bot should trigger on him in mid, so they're very well aware of what's going to happen. He was hoping to find a shot, find something, because that door is still trapping him here.
SUYGETSU. Let's see if you can find the first clutch.
15.
Of 2023 here in EMEA.
10 seconds
Nothing
left.
to work with. The retake, not a lot for Koi to try and play with either, but they've got each other.
They're moving in quickly, and SUYGETSU, not a chance to breathe, not a chance to pull that trigger. That's going to be Koi on the board.
I mean, fantastic hold there. koldamenta first trapped on that switch, is able to get 2 before he falls, and then Sheydos, of course, finishes off the round with a 3K there as well. Very nicely played, and after things got a little bit dicey, I think, right? The position from cNed to start things off in A main, I think is very good, especially if this team keeps trying to split their way into the A site where they're committing 3 people on catwalk and only 2 through main.
Yeah.
That can leave those players very vulnerable, especially trying to get the timing right into the site. So swinging late out of line could absolutely snap people in the side of their heads if they're not being diligent clearing that one out.
Alarm bot out.
I think now we need to put some emphasis onto ultimates, right? Because this is the stage of the game where they start to appear.
Yeah.
cNed with Blades helps out with economy. You've got Zyppan. Close to that no command, can deny quite a bit. But I think the most important part is that killjoy. Lockdown, very close.
Yeah, lockdown just one off, and not a Sova on the opposite side to destroy that, but the Gecko, the KO, not going to be bad options. Oh, man. Face right tucked up in here in the wall for starxo.
They're definitely putting pressure onto Koi here.
I really love that play, though. As a dive bomb shark, what was that from Wolfen trying to pinch on down? They had trexx flashing over the top of the smoke, too, but a little bit disjointed there. Still, I respect the effort. That's
It's
a fun one.
respectable. I think we can say that much. And if it worked, it would have been marvelous. But for now, we hold. And so do Koi here. You can see koldamenta very pushed up here onto this A site towards short. Kind of the defense of that site is down to him, the gatekeeper.
Yeah, and one of the things, Navi's been playing slow, but I think that having double smokes as a setup just makes it really hard for the defense to play through mid. We're seeing this wall, which really cuts off your options to play off of cat, unless maybe you're trying to flash through, but even that's not the most reliable of options. And then, of course, you can't peek from deep CT because of this Viper wall either.
30
so
seconds left.
I really like the way Navi have been trying to play through mid and then work their way into the site.
Yeah, and koldamenta here has got a really tough choice to make, to call rotations, to react in time, play for retake. It's not an easy choice to make, and obviously they're allowing Navi to just roll into this B site. Oh, but through the smoke, it's a victorious kill for Sheydos, putting them right back in even grounds, but no, actually even giving them the advantage.
That's just insane. Sheydos finding 2 there, very low time on the clock, and only 3 players alive.
Oh, he might even be able to use a lockdown, but Angel's pushing up very aggressively. koldamenta putting him to bed quickly, but still, look how far Navi are going to play this. They're not going to let their opponents sit up, not at all. SUYGETSU alone, but not able to win that second clutch. It's going to be Koi to double up their rounds.
If you're down numbers after planning that spike, you have to play forward on the B site. You can't allow yourself to get trapped back boathouse or anything like that. So they're trying to fight forward on sidewalk. Just doesn't matter when Koi are that diligent, trading off one another, playing very nicely in that 3 versus 2 situation to bring things back to even. And once again, Sheydos, he had the 3K in the round previous there. He's finding 2 kills through smokes. Just a beast.
Now I'll be interested to see how Navi pace themselves, right? They've so far been quite hold back. You know, they've got this ability to try and bait out a lot of utility off of their opponents and, you know, hope that they dry up until the latter stages of the round. That's what we've mostly been seeing, but, you know, they're also notorious for the shape-up in pace, which is exactly what we're seeing here. Very aggressive onto the safe side.
Oh, wow. Trexx able to find 1 there, and Wolfen, we've seen him so many times, wants to go for that aggressive peak, but no. Up numbers, 5 versus 4, no reason to throw yourself on the line. That's the type of play you make when you're down numbers. Instead, just going to group up, 2 players over towards tree, a tale as old as time as they try to re-peek into mid and just narrowly miss on that.
Yeah, they see cNed, they're like, I'm not sure I want to go up against a Turkish jet.
Oh no, is this alarm bot actually behind the Viper wall too? I didn't catch because previously it had been in front, but wouldn't be of much value as Shao makes quick work of Wolfen there.
Nice little flash drive, allowing cNed to push a little bit further forwards. Much pitch, just making sure they don't push further into tree, but the A site is what it's being given to them. We're looking at a 4 versus 4 retake.
Yeah, it could be a quick retake though with the lockdown if they want to drop that one in, but look at the control, the fight over tree. SUYGETSU getting that kill shuts down any option to use the lockdown.
Important.
It's so easy for the players near switch and cat to crunch in on tree and make that happen, so it actually comes down fairly late and fairly deep too.
It essentially funnels them into that heaven side where potentially Navi is there and waiting.
Retake coming in over Raptors now. 3 players coming through, but Angel finds 2!
Oh my goodness, Angel! Blinking, you miss it. That's Navi on top.
Absolutely nuts, just shutting it down. Lockdown doesn't even matter from main. Angel is able to get the job done. That's an important one, too. I really think SUYGETSU getting that kill in mid was the breaker in that round. Made so much more pressure, and there you can see the shot. Very aware of what's going down, and actually that second kill, I didn't quite see it the first time around, but that was nasty, and he knows that was gross.
Hey, look. Out of everything that happened that round, what made me most happy was a wingman spike plant.
That's so true. And honestly, like, for whatever Gecko does for you,
fighting mid, I guess.
Why not?
Trexx, slow down a bit, buddy.
Wow, just bottom mid, absolutely rolling. I'm curious to see. I think a lot of times when I've seen this Viper on attack on Ascent, I see her try to have a lineup to throw that orb bottom mid.
Yeah.
And what it can do is actually really punish teams that like to play forward, because you have full control over when you throw up and when you drop that smoke. But they're not doing that this time around. I think they've used maybe the Omen smoke before, but it would give them another option to sort of counteract that heavy mid aggro at start of round.
NAVI look to move into A main. Well-timed paranoia will definitely deter them from that initial effort. You can always see the pivoting happening from Koi. This should be a fairly clean endeavor. They've got Navi's number, really.
No reason for Cold to peek here. Just wait and trade off the teammates. Same thing with starxo. You can see not actually holding that
chill.
angle for the time being. It's a very deep off angle, and it's just Shao in a 1v3.
Yeah, Shao. This is a difficult one.
30 seconds left.
And I think there's not much more to be said after that. Maybe to save. You know, the economy on both sides isn't comfortable. So a rifle in his hands wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, I mean, I have to respect the way Koi have played with a numbers advantage, especially. Like, when they're down numbers, they're taking more risky plays. When they're up in numbers, like, they're in very good position, so they don't give a single option over to actually throw around.
Wait a minute. Yeah, no, okay.
They're fine. So
Yeah,
this is something
fine.
Koi have been doing regularly. I believe they're closing, we haven't been on their POV, but I believe they're closing that door as they leave the B site and rotate over to A when that hit ends up coming through. And it, as you can see twice now, it's just added so much more time, added pressure of, you know, if you're planting in a 1v2, 1v3, those rotations are coming in quicker because you have to spend 3 seconds blasting down the door, reloading your weapon, then running into site, planting. It's just so frustrating.
And it all just started from this, right here, Trexx. Just peeking mid. That's as simple as that. Obviously, he had support from short, putting more pressure from multiple sight lines. But the fact that Koi are comfortable with pressuring mid, we've seen a lot of NA teams kind of like to use that maneuver, and Koi bringing that to the arsenal is
aggro mid.
Pretty nice. And we're seeing that again, but a different variation of it. Wolfen will get shut down quickly. Shao.
What
quickly to deal with that one.
Yeah, I mean, he's just going to let Thrash rip up mid, but I don't know. I think the flash was perfect over the top of Tiles right there. I don't know if Wolfen maybe got caught by the flash or something, because updrafting there was not it.
Yeah, quite lapse in judgment. All right, Navi, closely to this B site, of course, have illustrated their presence. And the Koi telegraphing that have left just a solo Sheydos towards the A side to defend it with his own utility. So a stack up here is massive. And starxo, together with a flash drive, is able to grab out 2, as simple as that. And they get away with their kills they've gathered. Just fall back, and with no reason to take the fight. Yes, an ult command comes in, but why take on this fight?
Oh, Sheydos is right here and destroys Angel. Heard everything that was going down. 2 versus 3 is not unplayable for Navi, but they're running straight into the Killjoy setup, and those mollies won't actually let you out of door. That's a lot of time that Sheydos can buy.
30 seconds left.
And that alarm bot just triggers. They know exactly what's going on. The dagger doesn't catch out the Killjoy either. Nano Swarm delay, Sheydos there with his gun, pulling the trigger against the smoke. Drops a classic, but it's koldamenta to finish the job up against Zyppan. It's Koi with a lead.
That was brutal what they just did to them right there. The lockdown, and I mean, I like the idea from Angel to try and get that ult over to the A site, because I do believe that Sheydos has been rotating fairly quickly when Koi do notice the spike, but actually caught it at just the wrong timing. Sheydos is literally in motion, leaving the site through tree. Then here's the ult. Instantly turns around, is able to lock him out.
And it's a shame we didn't really get to see too much value coming out from the Thrasher of Shao, right? Because he was able to, well, he picked it up once, right? He used it in mid, didn't find anyone, couldn't kind of capitalize on that with a push, and then didn't get a chance to use it over in B due to the collapse from starxo and trexx.
Made things really tough for them. Navi repeating some of this A main early aggression we saw once before. I do like mixing up the way they fight, especially because if that aggro play were to come in from bottom mid again, that could be really, really punishing. Not just not having the smoke bottom mid, but also not having the darts to clear things away. Because of it, they've seeded tree almost completely.
Yeah, this is a lot of pressure.
Oh, quick flank though, look at Wolfen!
Oh my goodness, they're coming in quickly, but there might not even be need in them. Wolfen with two, cNed putting into his grave, but is that good enough? Onto the site, they have to deal with Trexx. Now quickly traded, but Zyppan is alone, and he's only got a Sheriff. What a collapse from Koi. What a quick move from Wolfen.
Look, we might just be 8 rounds in, but I'm going to make a bold prediction that Koi may be the most fun team to watch in Valve.
Yeah.
The amount of plays they have done to set up Wolfen for aggressive dashes has been nuts right there. The Fade ult deafens everyone right on the attacking side. So Wolfen goes flying up mid with 2 players behind him. Flash is ready, is dashing up, drafting over them, climbing down and shooting 2 people that can't see or hear anything. Like, what is that?
That is gorgeous. And the amount of utility that the attackers kind of spent to enter that site was just all gone to waste. Had to spend 2 players to look behind, and obviously they couldn't hear, see, and had their skulls being crushed by lead. Oh, crazy stuff. I feel like here, this is Navi trying to slow down the pace. It's Koi that's caught them off guard a couple of times so far. The past 2 pushes, wherever they try to go, they get greeted with aggression.
The thing is, it's not even necessarily like always on the same timers or anything.
Yeah.
It's not like start of round, Wolfen's doing something crazy. That was mid-hit, right? As they're trying to work into tree, they're instantly getting flanked. You don't run into that very often. And I think this is something that it is characteristic of Wolfen, though. Since pistol round, going for those mid-round re-aggresses into mid, that has been very common for him to try and find. Catch you on a bad time and catch you when you're in motion with util in hand as the execute is coming in. He's been very effective on that. Even though he hasn't gotten all of the kills, I think the rest of the team has been playing up behind him and has been converting.
Quite an important round here for Navi, because losing this, they are in fear of falling further back. And don't really want to be that behind from Koi this early on into the game. Obviously, we saw Koi in lock-in. They're good at starts of maps, but we've also seen them fail very, very quickly after that.
For sure. Right there we saw Angel trying to see if there was going to be an alarm bot. No alarm in mid this time. And interesting, SUYGETSU has been using this B orb for B main control to shut down. Right there you see Wolfen with the operator trying to get that forward angle, but can't really walk through that smoke. That's not something that you're ever going to feel comfortable doing on, I don't think, especially with the decay coming on in. And interestingly enough, Navi regrouping for a full 5-player hit through A main. This is completely unique for them. They've been going for these very split hits through mid. And what's going to be the play? Because they don't really have any ults to work with, do have flashes. Of course, Wingman can go for a plant, and they do have the Viper ult in the post. That's going to be something that may be difficult to work through for Koi.
Big change of pace for them for sure. cNed takes charge of the side. Oh, uncomfortable. Ends up low. And it's Turret who end up killing off cNed. Trexx picks up one as well. Navi on the hot seat with only 3 against the 5 of Koi.
And SUYGETSU is playing A main, so they're not actually going to use the ultimate here. No pit. Try and lock it down. Actually, he's going to come out now, but the retake's already in progress.
The Viper's pick comes in very, very late, which leaves Shao to try and do this all by himself. Up against 3, but impossible. And it's the bot that is the MVP of that round.
Absolutely nuts. The turret doing all the work there as Sheydos just continues to farm up kills. And I can't help but feel like Navi maybe a little bit split in the decision-making. SUYGETSU seems like he realized after the fact that he wanted to use the pit, and then I think just got spammed through smoke trying to put that one down. Very unfortunate situation to be in, because I thought Navi actually played the initial site hit pretty decently. I think the spacing between the Omen and Jet diving into site, while the rest of the team backed away, they avoided this paranoia, the counter paranoia that initially comes out on the hit. But then these angles up from heaven, it all falls apart.
I feel like a lot of these kills are just through smokes.
It has been
so
the story,
many of them.
which is crazy because it's not even like, you know, Navi's playing with wall hacks. And starxo is.
Yeah, and it's crazy that a lot of these kills are with Vandals as well, with guns that can be traced. Wolfen, with a very aggressive pick.
Gotta hurt after that, right?
Yeah,
He just
man.
went at like 100 kilometers an hour straight into a wall. I don't know.
He's got to feel happy though that he's picked it up in the end. Angel trying to square up that numbers advantage now. Down at equal. Wolfen just updrafts on top of his smoke and picks off Angel.
I like
it's
that.
that simple. But look at this push in mid. Well, it's kind of a fallback actually from Navi now that they have no idea of what's going on over TA main.
Yeah, it's less of a push and more of just a big chill in mid. You know, tucked over by Fridge, and now just waiting, seeing if there is going to be that re-aggress, I think, maybe as an idea. But I don't think that's something Koi do with a numbers advantage. You can see they've seeded mid control entirely. They're playing 2 in spawn, spotting that one out. Wolfen can jump up on the fountain here and look for another peek into mid, but even that might be a little bit ambitious.
Their backs against the wall for sure. And, you know, there's a lockdown available, no command for Koi. Tough cookie to crumble for sure.
Yeah, the post plant's not going to be fun. They have to get trexx and not actually lose a player on the head.
Yep, Sheydos spotting out trexx. No command, that's trexx down, very important. Can they keep their players alive?
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think they contacted all the way up to stairs.
How the turntables. And now it's a 2v3. No command ready here for Koi. This is all possible for them. Will the no command be expended here by Sheydos? Obviously. Knowing that all 3 players are on site is the most important part.
They've got a lot of time. They can time out this KO ult and then decide to go for it if they want.
That's exactly what they've done. No more no command available.
Here
The
it is.
lockdown drops. And look at
stairs.
cNed, he's pushing together with Zyppan, and they'll be able to take it down, but they don't want to show their position. Not just yet. Peeking out through logs. It's koldamenta and Sheydos to win off the clutch.
Sheydos in the clutch is just unbeatable. Who is this man? Even going to funnel him the orb right here as well. I love that. Again, very high level play, not deciding to shoot the ult until the very last possible moment.
But koldamenta was 2 steps ahead of him.
It doesn't matter.
He was waiting for them to do that.
Yep. The double swing from sidewalk, from logs right there.
Beautiful.
Destroys it. 15-4 is Sheydos. Oh, man. I mean, not even getting the first kill is like, okay, no, I'll deal with cNed first, come back, you know, I'm finished playing with my food now, get the second one. Easy does it. Ooh. And Wolfen is just the wealthiest man on earth right now.
Yeah. Now NAVI in mid. They've lost that clutch, even though that round seemed to be falling in their favor. It can be a little bit heartbreaking. But let's see if they can draw it right back up. Obviously, Angel, very experienced IGL. He can definitely bring the boys back.
Interesting that Wolfen's playing mid here. It doesn't even matter. I thought he was just going to get smoked off, but they just take the fight and kill him.
I mean, it doesn't matter if Angel's in the front line when he's doing the entry killing. But look at this B push. 2 defending for Koi. Sheydos looking to respect Cloud Burst, but no, they drop further backwards, still hold on to this market position, and maybe look to push in once again. Poison Cloud, they want to kill off the player on site before they enter, but it's bought so much time for Koi to move back to this B site. But no, they're lingering. They're actually dropping back even further. They're questioning whether there's a rotation in from NAVI. NAVI pushes to the site, gets the kill. The spike plant will be theirs, and Koi is on the back foot.
They need to fight forward here with Shao. Shao a little bit isolated in logs.
He's fine though, he's got a crossfire with Angel. And he can just peek out in time. Shao, first kill of that fight. koldamenta and trexx are dead men walking. Trexx, Pikaru, but bye-bye. Angel for that round.
Very nicely done there. Having to gamble a little bit through the one-way, but pinching down onto the site, shutting out starxo from the round. He's able to lock that up. And it all starts off with Angel just absolutely murdering Wolfen. Wolfen having a bit of a tough go of things. A lot of the plays have been fun, have been you know, clever working with the team, but the kills just have not been there. And when Angel is just taking these opening fights, it's one of those crazy things. It's like, he's on smoke. Surely you don't want him taking the opening fights, right? Because it puts you in a position where maybe you lose that. Well, they say, okay, first of all, we have 2 smokes. Second of all, Angel's just going to kill the enemy offer. We have full faith in him to do it. Hard to judge him too harshly for that one.
Ooh, Wolfen. He's just comfortable enough to push through mid like that. Of course, he had the support from short, but how it worked out, I have no clue. NAVI now entering the B site. cNed trying to pull his team in with him, but he dies before his team has a chance to cross through that smoke. Sheydos just really picking them up. Oh, and he's just picking them up one by one. Koi, end off the half, 8-4.
8-4 to kick it off here in the Coliseum. You gotta love to see that. Koi really,
from the front.
We're popping here, especially Sheydos. 18 kills after 12 rounds. That's crazy.
That is mad indeed. Okay, well, okay, NAVI we know they've got a potential to come back from this, right? This is not the end of the road. Now they're entering on the defense. They'll feel a little bit more comfortable.
For sure. It will be a challenge, though, just seeing how they work this comp. And they have so many tools to stall out site hits, but not that much in terms of reliable information. So how they're able to play for that is going to be something we'll have to continue tracking, because what Koi have got, it's standard, it's by the books, you know it's going to be strong.
That is true. That is true. But I'm impressed by Koi, right? They're known for these early starts, and I think what a lot of people have in their mind is them being able to keep that momentum, keep it going in their favor, and try to close out this map. I think it's really important. Because imagine, right? I'm probably getting ahead of myself right now, but this is Koi potentially getting a win against NAVI in the first match of VCT EMEA, and that would be quite a confidence booster.
We'll have to see if they're able to close it out. We do have Yinzu standing by with Simple, though, so let's go over to her.
That is right. Thank you very much, Ender and Pavlos. I'm joined by the one and only Simple. Hi, Sasha. Welcome to the arena. That's right. Give him a cheer. Give him a cheer. So the rumors are correct then. Are you moving to Valorant anytime soon? We're going to be able to steal you?
Probably no, because there's a new CS game. So I just coming here to visit and watch how everything set it, you know.
Okay, Valorant fans, I tried, okay? I gave it my best. Now, what do you make of this new arena? Is the day one? We're just open. What do you make of the stage and everything?
Yeah, I enjoyed so much because last time, been in 2016 when I played for Team Liquid, I've been in League of Legends, Riot Studio, and now it's next level.
Yeah, this is cool. It's a cool experience.
Yeah, it's beautiful music, beautiful lights and all of this.
Are you sure you don't want to play here? Are you sure? 100%?
I actually wanted. I told cNed just stand up a bit, just for one map, but said, no, I got this.
Speaking of the map, Shao, he played Gecko. What do you make of Gecko right now? What do you make of this agent?
I actually watched NAVI practice like yesterday, and I finally understand how Goku, right? Goku works, and I think they're gonna. I think it's overpowered.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Simple. I'm going to see if they can actually turn it around in the second half. Back to you, Ender and Pavlos. Thank you. You're the best. You're the GOAT. You're the GOAT.
Thank you. Yinzu, come this way, please.
I'm pretty sure we've got like an entire comp over with cosplayers over in the corner. We've got a Killjoy, Jet, a Fade. We've got everything.
Pretty neat, pretty neat.
Literally doing it all. I love the setup. I love seeing everyone in person, the teams in person as well.
Great, man. We've been waiting for this for a while. Yeah. But yeah, this is turning out to be quite an interesting match for the first map of the day. Obviously, NAVI being the heavy favorite coming into this, not having the greatest of starts, right? Koi having their number, a few set plays here and there, have caught them off guard a number of times.
I am always hesitant to react heavily after the first half, so especially with NAVI moving over towards the defense.
For sure.
In my books, I feel like teams always are performing a little bit better on the defense than the offense, maybe a bit simpler. And again, with the amount of stall this team has, if you are trying to just full force your way into a site, you're going to run into trouble already with the Viper wall here that gets shut off instantly. That's a good catch coming out of trexx.
Yeah, 3 players detected there at the initial effort, so NAVI having read that are happy to keep their 3 players holding that out. But if you notice, mid is sort of open for the taking. There is a bit of lurking going on here from cNed, but with that smoke, his vision is obscured.
Koi still with options. To me, it seems like this may end up being a split into B. Actually, as they pull starxo back into mid, very likely ends up moving over towards the A site with the smoke to maybe get them either to cross or threaten. They're standing right outside of market. Not that NAVI are playing for that necessarily. It seems pretty common after you lose the early engagement, fall back to the trenches, right? Especially focusing your attention on tree. Shao's just going to try to stall here for as long as possible.
Yeah, much bit dropping. That's going to delay, but with a dash, he's left Wolfen to pass by. cNed with behind the smoke. Somehow is able to stay alive. His angel really, saving him. 3v3, cNed into his own smoke, comes out of it. Trexx there to receive him. And just like that, Zyppan and SUYGETSU on the conversion, trying to get here quickly. But if you look at Koi's health, they're not that healthy. Could be picked up easily.
Yeah, they could do a lot of damage here. No flashes for Zyppan to get into the fight, so it's going to be all about the guns. And switching over to the Frenzy is perfect, especially on how low these players are. SUYGETSU has to be able to find starxo. But really clear left instead of right. That's the gamble he has to take. I love that they're grouping together.
Yeah, they're moving to move it together, that's for sure. starxo with the first one just swings by. Ferrari peak Zyppan. Not really anticipated to be in that position, but the double stack up there from Koi allows them to pick up the second pistol of this map.
Good redirect from Koi back into tree, finding where Navi are maybe a little bit weak and punishing it. At the same time, I do have to, okay, right, they win pistol. Let's do a little Gecko timeout. Let's see what he was trying to do there, because he obviously ended up falling right next to Switch, but similar to how Lothar on the desk was talking about how you can throw the flash like straight up in the air and then try to reclaim it very quickly so you don't have to run a mile away. That's exactly what he was trying to do into tree. He just got rushed while trying to set that up. So a little bit unfortunate, but you can see some of the theory because, at least for me, I feel like Gecko as an agent is just weaker than a lot of the other initiators, right? Especially like his blind, it's like the splat on your face, right? You know, like in Mario Kart when the squid comes and inks all over you. That's literally what it is.
I hate that.
And I feel like still having your peripherals gives you so much because you know where you are, you know where you can kind of angle your crosshair, gives you a lot more comfortability than a full flash would potentially. But that being said, being able to reclaim your abilities and only have that 10-second cooldown, that's where I think a lot of the power could potentially come from. So it's nice to see Shao trying to implement some of those ideas.
Seeing cNed on a Marshall, but a very passive position for him. Nothing too overzealous, really. And
this is what
true rifles on the Koi side.
See, straight up, flashes into A main there.
It feels just like Lothar's tutorial.
I literally saw him do that today, except for the smite vandal, which is questionable at best.
All right, well, Trexx holds off cNed, the only member of Navi with a gun, so this should be fairly simple and straightforward for Koi, but with Navi coming in, they're going to be moving in together. There's a potential for some kills to be falling their way. Koi's passive, they don't need to take any of these trades. It's clear, no risks are necessary to be taken, even if their opponents are just pushing through smokes, but this is somewhere where it may get dangerous. They're running out of time, so they need to get these kills quickly. They've gotten two, can they triple it up? Sheydos able to change his position, finds another, starxo looks behind him, and Koi recover.
Yeah, rifle does survive there for Koi, so not too bad, and the second one picked up at the very end for koldamenta. So not going to be too unhappy with how that all played out. But the fact is, Koi winning pistol after going up 8. Fantastic way to kick it off. And they're going to be able to fight here. I wonder, they could only upgrade into a third rifle. So there's a world in which Koi, because they're up 10-4 here, decide not actually to go for the upgrade and go for the fight into this round. I think in most situations you would. And I think the whole idea around like bonus rounds is somewhat expired. But you can see Trexx did not actually upgrade. And I think this is largely part because of what money they ended up on, but also because they do have the comfortable lead.
Quite a bit of comfort. 6 rounds for Navi to try and square things up. And this is definitely a round that could get them started in that pursuit.
There it is again. One thing is, though, I think the last time when it was in A main, there were players in A main and it didn't actually spot them. So now I'm questioning how reliable, actually, that does end up being for them. Because obviously, in order to have it go straight up and straight down, like it's a pretty awkward angle that may not catch if they are close, but there you have him, using it again.
Just a shout out to observers here, really highlighting Gecko. Obviously, this is one of the first times we see him in competitive play, so thank you for that. Zilv and Mel, by the way, for everybody watching.
I feel like the camera work has been less sus than I'm used to with Mel. So I don't really know how to feel.
Yeah, it's a change of pace, right? Okay, well.
Ooh, check out that the one-way on the Viper, just because, again, the agents you see a little bit less of. I know we had like the Viper Renaissance back at lock-in, and you started seeing her on a lot more maps you weren't used to, but this one-way is really nasty, and the cooldown of it is going to be back up for her to pop, and really solid to hit. What can you do?
Well, Navi electing to not hold the site, instead go for the tree setup. Ooh, quite a lot of expenditure towards that position, and the cross is coming forth. Koi looking to enter this, and they've been successful in getting in here without dropping any players, but they don't have much time to get that plant down. cNed with the first pick. Uncomfortable Trexx also gets shut down. Sheydos trying to put his name on the board, but this is getting dangerous. The spike is still not down. It's down in spawn, and they have to get the kills. No time remaining. That is Navi getting the win.
Huge round for Navi there. They absolutely needed that round. And it came down to the slow play and then the stall, right? Navi playing to their composition, punishing Koi for taking their sweet time around mid and then not giving them an option to go for the plant. cNed playing a little bit aggressive, going for the repeaks. They just want to fight you to the death before you can actually put the spike on the ground, and it worked beautifully there.
Wonderful, wonderful. I guess you could also say that Koi maybe left that a little bit too late, knowing Navi has got so much in play. Right, obviously they didn't know the setup exactly, but you know, if you look at the setup, it's supposed to be quite a bit there.
Oh no, they shot the poor animal. Come on, guys.
The humanity.
Just wanted to live. That is
Inhumanity.
brutal. Yeah, I do think a big part against playing against the Viper is either A, catching her with your the KO knife, or trying to catch her on the timing of when she brings down the orb, because that cooldown is pretty long on the reactivation. There was an opportunity in the previous round for them to punish that, but I just don't think they were quite in position, and often you can't really play for that. Hold on. Ooh. It's going to be a mid play, but they're just going to run into this turret.
Hold the door.
Hodor.
Hodor. Well, in and out. Said hello, said goodbye.
Yeah, see, I would be confused if I was Navi. I'm like, wait a second, are Koi still in the spawn? Were they by guns? Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but here they are. Again, slow. This is maybe problematic as we look further in this half. Koi have been taking their time. Now, 45 seconds is more than enough, don't get me wrong. But if they stall out clearing through a main, this could be bad. And one being noted has caused the rotates to come in from Navi.
The crucial thing, they're not moving into short, which is where Navi has a setup 2 rounds consecutively. Paolo not spotting anybody. Snakebite will be delaying together the dark cover, but they're just waiting for the lockdown to proc for them to push forwards.
The
fragment.
Literally everything. Wow. So much stall, so the lockdown doesn't actually matter.
It doesn't. All that utility just nullified the effect of it, and Angel is just fragging! No way! And now the starxo to himself, but he's just walking on a field of dead bodies, and those were his teammates. Navi pick up a 6 and show dominance on the defense.
Just nasty right there. The layering of molly on nade, on spray from the rifle, just gross. Gross. What do you do against that?
Disgusting.
The A main lockdown doesn't actually fully reach into heaven, so there's so many options. SUYGETSU was pumping out those mollies very early on into lockdown too, making sure there was no real window to actually sneak out onto the side. I think one player perhaps made it, but apart from that, it was just absolutely perfect. And the rare save now to come in from Koi, just the hero with no armor on Wolfen.
A little bit of an early presence here from Navi and A main. Won't be sticking around too long though. Fights being taken out in mid. We're looking at Koi with pistols, okay? So this is definitely Navi trying to bring back the tempo. Remember, there were 6 rounds behind. Potentially after this round, there'll be 3. So this is definitely looking a lot more fathomable. And the comfort we were talking about on this defense is definitely there.
Yeah, I think Navi really aren't trying to put themselves in positions where they can be easily killed early. You can see everyone kind of holding hands, making sure there's going to be a trade. Because, yeah, one player can get caught by the odd sheriff, but if there's a second one there, much more likely you're able to shut that down.
I may be putting you on the spot here, Ender. But if you were Koi, what would you be doing differently? Because obviously they've struggled with similar situations so far on the attack.
Well, I think a lot of the problem has come down to how late they actually work into a site. I don't think they've been challenged a ton in mid, so I'd actually like them to sort of claim that space a little bit earlier on. I don't think that it requires a whole lot, maybe just a fade eye early to scout out near market or bottom mid, and then working up into tree. Because also, like, the fights haven't been in main either. It's all been entrenched deep on site, like this.
Yeah, exactly like this. That's a bit too long. Angel on site, untested. cNed and Angel both rain their bullets upon their opposition.
That's so nice, right? Just leave yourself at a very far angle versus the sheriffs. Cut down. In theory there, you could even have Zyppan swinging out off of the Omen contact into tree, and then these players are like, I have to spin at like a 110-degree angle. It's just absolutely gross what you actually have to do to try and shut down those players, but that is a very nice setup. Even resetting the spray there, got a little bit ambitious, trying to convert it into the second.
I'm going to point out something. Koi haven't gone for a timeout in the second half yet. Right?
Who needs a timeout?
Who needs a timeout? Well, apparently Koi do, because they haven't quite figured out their issue yet.
Yeah, one of the interesting things, by the way, was I know we had a big old pause at the start of the game, but the players were actually allowed to talk to their coaches throughout that pause because the game actually hadn't started. And I can't help but feel like that's a nice situation to be, especially cooking against, you know, a very strange composition, maybe seeing Gecko, double smokes. Can't imagine they played against that a ton.
No. Definitely a fresh experience.
But here you have it, right? You're not getting fought in A main, so they're just trying to set up for the attack. And it comes in at 110 because they didn't use that cooldown right off the rip.
They're moving in quickly. That's for sure. Zyppan within the smoke, though, is trying to surprise koldamenta, making sure he's no more. Koi, for the first time in a while, are winning out on these first strikes and do not want Zyppan to be alive for it.
Absolutely perfect. Contact up through A main and then burst out onto the site. Don't let the util players bust out the mollies in their hands and throw it in. You just catch them completely off guard.
For Navi, they've got an Uno reverse card. They've got cNed and Shao, apparently. This is far from done. This is far from over. Dash from cNed, trying to bait out Koi's position. Spray downs. Maybe when they reload, Navi will choose to push in. cNed walking a little bit further forward, his teammate right behind him. All of them from heaven. Breaking the eye. On a bit further, trexx and Sheydos peek simultaneously, and it's all down to Shao. They know exactly where he is, they know exactly what he's doing, and they are patient to peek at the right moment. Koi on the 11th round, they're back.
That is tough. Koi pinpointed exactly what they need to do. There are options, try to split into a site, try to bust on in, but I think the way that they just didn't make a sound in main until they were ready to commit really challenges this Navi comp, again, because Navi have a weaker scouting options, I think, right? No drone, things like this. Yes, you can use times where you send out wingman or you have the KO knife, but I feel like it's just a little bit less reliable than you'd get out of your typical agents. Or, for example, a Killjoy that can have that utility on site. You don't have to prep that. You can just instantly react as the hit is coming on through. They don't have that option. They have to have the forward information to be able to time their util correctly.
I know we had some time at the start of this day to have a look at this studio, the pits of the Coliseum.
Oh, yeah.
It's looking dope.
It's looking very dope. I literally just feel like there's like gladiators supposed to walk out of that teleporter out onto the stage, you know, go to battle. The fans up above throwing roses on in there for their champion. All the good stuff. Maybe not in this day and age.
Yeah, maybe not today. I feel their weapons are their mouses and keyboards now.
Yes.
Yeah. It's good enough, though. Good enough for the action we're seeing.
Do you think that back in the day that fans would like dress up, they would cosplay gladiators? Like they would show up to the arena and they're like, yeah, I'm in my battle attire.
I don't think they'd ever want to be confused as gladiators, though, because watching it and
would
being
not be
part of
good.
it is something completely different that I don't think they'd want to be a part of.
Yeah, a little bit more life or death than the VCT.
just a tad. Just an incy-wincy bit. Koi 2 rounds away from closing this first map out. Navi, though, has had a greater grasp of this defense. Koi just had a greater lead on their first half.
This setup from Koi is interesting, though. Playing for ult orbs on trexx, of all people, just trying to snowball him ahead. Well, Wolfen's just kind of camped outside of A main, playing a very tight angle actually in front of the alarm bot. The rest of the team is going to rotate over, and I wonder if koldamenta is going to try to, you know, sell some attention over on B, maybe end up ulting over towards A later on, or could just go for the more standard late lurk through mid.
Yeah, I'm curious if they will be seeing some creative rotation game going on. Both of the Omens have
look at this.
From the shadows.
Just the Prowler has pulled cNed away from Cat up into watching main, right? They want a gun at the ready to try and shut down this hit, and then if the Jet falls right on the attacking side, then it's much easier to sort of overlay your utility and stall out that hit, but that has opened up mid for koldamenta's lurk.
And cNed holding it out, can't quite use his dash with the dagger
central.
Inflicting the mark.
What is going on? They're rotating through spawn all over the place.
No, they're sticking to A.
Yeah, well, because trexx did end up coming all the way over, so they could end up looking for...
No way! Wolfen just jet diffed cNed, and he doubles up onto SUYGETSU. 2 players without their heads, and now Navi left with 3. Their backs are really up against the wall. This is the first map of the series, and Navi's map no less. Losing this puts them at a really bad spot.
Zyppan and Shao have to do something. They've got so many flashes to work with, but trexx over on Cat. Shao needed to find that fight. Now he's spent 10 or more seconds hunting down that kill.
Oh, and trexx is just moving further and further away. Shao, very, very eager to pick trexx off.
But there could be even another flank. You can see that Sheydos is actually now taking down the Cat.
Koi playing it comfortable, playing it safe. No reason to overpeak. And as you said, they've got the guarantee of the rotation, the backstab. Shao moving forwards, but he doesn't have much time. Yet again, reminding you of the back push from Sheydos, and he's there, finally making his presence known. Shao put down, and Koi on match points.
That is huge. Koi all the way up to the end here. Sheydos leading from the front as well. I mean, what a performance. Kicking things off on the Killjoy with 24 kills.
I just noticed that.
Yeah, I mean, his defensive half was nuts. His attacking half also looking very strong. The clutch factor from him has been fantastic. Late in rounds, he's always good for his.
I mean, cNed was out with his scope on the operator. Maybe it was just a millisecond where he looked at the map or something. But the fact that Wolfen was able to be out in the middle of the entrance of A and still be faster to the trigger than cNed,
oh yeah,
that speaks volumes.
Just better in that instance. And Koi too, it looked like they came up with that sort of on the fly because they had the Omen ult. They wanted to get him into backside. Hey, wanted to go heavy on the dive with that. That's actually why they rotated Trexx, because they still needed some kind of mid-lurk. The shot doesn't connect.
Oh, he's needed some time to warm up.
How does he live there?
22 points of health. Still breathing, still living, still with the ability to use his gun. But Navi, you can tell the pressure is on. They're just making a few little mistakes here and there.
Yeah, Koi saw a lot of players over towards B, so they're quickly trying to split into A, but the stall is here once again.
They've got so much installed to stop this from happening. You can't enter from short, you can't enter from main. Good luck with that.
But they have 50 seconds now. The time is there. It's not, though, as Angel and Zyppan shred.
And when the utility's obsolete, there are guns there to stop you. SUYGETSU in the corner to 50 points of health. Brings out the classic. Angel's there to help, though. The captain is here to stop them. Sheydos doubles up. And there's a grand opportunity for Koi to bring it right back up. Lockdown available. Thrasher thrown. Trexx, he's in big trouble. cNed shut him down. And it's down to Shao. Alone. Lockdown tries to kill off Trexx, but Trexx has got his number. Map number 1 goes to Koi.
That was an unreal opening map from Sheydos. He just, the adrenaline running through his veins, back on stage, and the man could not be stopped.
That was incredible, and like I said, a massive confidence booster for this team. They had such a great start to their game against NRG and Lock-In, but they weren't quite able to close it right back in the end, right? So they didn't quite get the satisfaction of being so successful early. But this time they got it done on Ascent, on Navi's map pick.
Oh yeah, show up, map 1 in the Coliseum for the first time. That is a statement victory to kick it off. And honestly, just the way it's done, from the clutch at the beginning of the game from Sheydos to the end, finishing it off in that final round, that was fantastic.
Well, we'll be back very shortly, so stay tuned.
Zero distraction. Zero doubt. Zero opposition.
Red Bull gives you wings.
What a dream start here for Koi. They take their first map right here in the Coliseum against NAVI. I'm your host, Yingsu, and I'm back here with Kakuka and Lothar. Honestly, Kakuka, I'm never going to doubt you ever again. That was the one and only time.
Never doubted me.
That was the one time I doubted you and I was wrong. Yeah.
No, but I'm very happy with what we saw. It's not only the fact that, again, they have to be the first ones to play. They have to do it in the opponent's pick. They had to face off against a new composition. But the way that we saw them play, especially on that first half, the way that Sheydos was doing things, the way that Wolfen was losing on the engagements and did not care at all. He was still being aggressive. He was still going on the hunt for the kill. If it works, it works. And he did not end the diff in cNed, but that's, kind of complicated.
He won.
Yeah, he won.
Yeah,
That's enough. That's enough.
Yeah.
It was actually crazy, just a show match of confidence. Every single player on Koi was like, when you were watching their POV, they were absolutely mad in the way they are peaking. They always knew that they have a chance at winning that duel, and it was visible through Sheydos. I was wondering how he will play on that Killjoy, and he has a little bit less of utility to make himself confident in those duels. Well, he just does it and wins them. That's about it.
Yeah, 3 out of 8 that you can see that NAVI were unable to win those 5 postpones. And I trusted koldamenta in making that decision, and that just give them time. Just give them time, because there's a lot of pressure on them too. You have, in so many occasions, we saw Shao, especially I think 2 rounds before the game was over, that he did not use the mosh pit, just because he's not used to having that ability kit.
And speaking of Sheydos, you guys brought him up already. Actually, we should have known how he was going to turn out, because let me tell you, NAVI only lost Ascent twice when they played here in 2022, and both time was against Mech, and both times Sheydos did pretty good, so we should have seen this coming.
He has the number. He's made a WhatsApp group. That's all I can tell you. For Sheydos, it's not only the fact that I remember in the defense he had a couple of crazy kills, just completely off the bat. I think one across the wall, another one across the smoke, and the way that he was so confident in everything. Not only that, on the attack, Lothar and I were mentioning this is something that he might not be too comfortable in, just playing from the sentinel role. The way that he was using those nano swarms, not even for the post plan. He doesn't care. He doesn't need to protect the spike. He'll do it with his body. He will use those mollies to put some extra pressure on you. And round after round, as Lothar also said, this was just confidence. Time and time again, he ended up with the +18. And it was a +18 performance as well from him.
And he dealt 280 yards.
This is Gambish Sheydos we're talking about. Prime time Sheydos. Now Lothar's got something prepped for us when it comes to how NAVI was doing on the map, so I'm going to throw it to him right now over the telestrator wall.
So, the desk is lovely, by the way, at the VNN EMEA network. That was the name, right? That was the name. Yeah, but what I wanted to bring up here is a mini-map from NAVI and how they utilize the double controller setup, so the Omen and the Viper, because it was something that we didn't typically have seen in the past. So, while we wait for the minimap, I'm gonna explain the concept. So essentially, NAVI was trying to get early space on attack by utilizing 2 smokes and a wall almost every single time the same way early in the rounds. So essentially in A main and B main, we have seen Omen and we have seen Viper utilize the smokes being pushed in front of the orbs locations. I can see here that 2 smokes in the main lobbies, and there's one on the left on your screen is the one from the Viper, the one on the right is the Omen. So essentially what they're trying to achieve is the blocking the vision from the defenders early on to get orb controls, to have better initiation tools in the ult economy while playing Gecko, for example here, while the Viper wall on mid allows them to deny the Killjoy bot position in the typical default position, which then pushed Sheydos to actually reposition his bot, and they deny every single lane was actually just denied when it comes to the vision. So A main, B main, mid, short, everything was being covered with the smokes, and that was the early game plan for NAVI. Was it successful? Well, we know that now at this point, not really, but it was a very innovative way of using the double controller.
I mean, this is the thing, right? If you want to innovate, Bear, you have to be prepared, and you have to win with it, because if you don't, it doesn't look very good.
So there's 2 ways to look at it. Of course, it's day 1, but if you're going to bring something new, you have 2 ways of doing it. You either do it like this, like NAVI did, or you just wait until someone else does it and you just copy it and be like, oh, okay, this is, you know, they just wanted to test it on their own players, on their own field, and maybe this was the moment to do it.
Well, Koi, they looked really good on Ascend. They don't get to play the 2 maps they lost at lock-in, but moving on to the next one, it is Lotus. Again, we don't know what they're going to run, but with NAVI, it looked all right, you know, when they played against Crew, but against Fnatic, Lothar, what was that?
They played the same composition though, so they stick their guns, but at the same time they played the same composition twice on Lock-in and Ascent, and now they fully changed it, right? So the last time we have seen NAVI play Lotus, it was a Fade, KO, Killjoy, Omen, Raze composition. So Raze, instead of the Jet there, is a big difference, but at the same time it's needed because Lotus is so, let's say, it puts emphasis on A lobby control. So I expect no changes here. I also don't expect Gecko to appear again, although I like the way that they utilize them on Ascent.
I think that especially it has to be a wake-up call for them, the fact that that did not work against Fnatic, and also, I mean, they did win against Crew, but I was not convinced, I was not sold. I would love to see cNed going back on the Jet, and honestly, if we have seen the changes just on Ascent, on a map, that they were already doing good, especially with what we saw at lock-in, that many teams are going to pick up, and it's Dot Harbor. Now with the Gecko, please, I need some of that.
I mean,
you want a team to use Harbor and Gecko together? Oh my.
Yes,
let's throw Reina in
you want
there
it too,
well.
you just don't know it.
Yeah, let's get Reina in there, you know, have some fun. But this is also the map lock-in. We saw, at least against Crew, Angel was kind of the playmaker. He had all of the ideas. He was TPing left, right, and center, everywhere on the map. Are we expecting him to maybe be the only person to stick to that Omen? Because that worked.
Remember that this was the time when teams also were learning Lotus alongside the matches. I would still say that there's still a lot to learn about Lotus because, you know, it's a new map, but teams have much more now practice and scrims on it. But I do think that the flexibility that Angel had in the past was just because of that. People had no idea how to just essentially answer Angel's like comfortability with the TPs, and they didn't know where the TPs will be going through. Now it's all out in the open, and they can adjust to that.
I think that it also, just thinking of that, if Angel is going to change, it's because of something else. Now that they have been trying that double controller, I would maybe like to see it, maybe just keep the Omen at the Viper. Nothing against that. Maybe I would try something different with the initiators. I think that we saw a value on Sky, especially during lock-in, that I actually really appreciated, and I think could create many opportunities for the players of NAVI, knowing that they have their solo potential.
I actually completely disagree about the Sky.
Really?
You know, yeah, I really dislike Sky on that map. I think the value
like her
of
anywhere?
the ultimate. I mean, she doesn't have like one skill is basically non-existent unless someone is damaged. So I don't like those type of non-proactive skills. But her ultimate is cut down in value because of the rotating doors. So it's hard to get consistent value out of that. While I think Breach is just, it's like Haven, it's like Split. He has so much agency on this map. It's actually unreal. So when I saw that there are so many Sky picks on that lock-in, I was pretty upset. It was like grumpy, you know, sitting down. I was like, why aren't they picking this? But I hope that we're gonna just see more proactive agents like Breach or KO on this map.
Let's talk about that because for Ascent we theorized a little bit. I think on the whole we were right about what we thought they were going to play. What about Lotus here, Kukuka? What do you want Koi to bring out?
I would love to see maybe, you know, maybe a double duelist, or maybe I would like to see Trexx. I would like to see him on the duelist, and maybe if he wants to go on that race, if he wants to create that extra explosiveness, I think it is the moment. I think that Wolfen already proved the point that at least to me he needed to make today, and I would like to see some more innovation coming on that side.
Well, Koi definitely needs to help a little bit more, push a little bit more support towards Wolfen, because there was a lot of solo picks that we have seen on the Ascent, right?
But there were in so many occasions that ended up as a win. You know, they just use him for information. It's another drone.
Well, hopefully he gets more support. But I wouldn't mind the double duelist, as you mentioned. You know, it's one of those maps where mobility is so valuable, and the duelists have that mobility built in most of them, at least, right? So the race jet combo could be so valuable at gathering A space, or just opening sites like C and A, because B, I don't think many teams actually focus on B in practice as well. Like, I'm not sure what you guys think about Lotus.
Listen, what I do want to see, I mean, I'm not going to say 100%, but I really, really would like to see Sheydos again on the Killjoy.
I think you will. I think you will.
I would love to see that. We haven't had enough. He's right now at his prime. So I think that for Lotus, it's not compulsory, but it's definitely very necessary. Definitely, Lotus was, you know, that fresh thing that we had prepared for lock-in. And just because, as we mentioned, they only played one match, of course, we didn't see anything from them. And it's not something that we can be like, okay, so starxo used to play this in Ascend, Kolda did this in Guild, but no, we have nothing to go off.
You can draw comparisons of the potential compositions from Koi if they would have been playing Haven before, right? And because the map is so similar in construction when it comes to Haven and Lotus. So that's why we should expect Sheydos and Killjoy, because you need a Sentinel on this map. Cypher doesn't really give you that much agency as Killjoy. It's not really proactive with the ultimate as well when Killjoy gets that value. And Chamber, well, let's not kid ourselves, he's not going to be our main Sentinel anywhere. I mean, as a secondary, as a fill,
as a secondary. Like, for example,
yes.
I could picture, and I think it would be, you know, some kind of a nice surprise to maybe see Wolfen on the Chamber. He's always been insane on that agent.
Yeah. All I want to say is that in terms of expectation of this map at all, I don't think that there was a time that we thought going into Lotus, we're going to be talking about that Koi was going to be the one to 2-0 this opening game.
Crazy.
Not Na'Vi. So, I mean, we talk about how it was an uphill battle from the get-go, but surely at this point, they're on a level playing field.
I would say there's a very huge advantage now towards Koi. Like, not even level playing field, because right now they're coming off the bat with complete demolition, I would say. Even though the scoreline wasn't really like, you know, when you look at the scoreline from Ascent, you wouldn't say that Ascent...
I was trying to look at the ability and I couldn't see it. We were seeing SUYGETSU and I was like, what is that ability?
You're
what is
scouting?
that?
They're behind the wall, you can walk
Now
down.
that we have them here, of course I'm going to be scouting, okay?
Yeah, but I feel like they're just coming of such a insane dominance from Ascent that they're just flying in. You know, this is like one of the rare moments when I actually favor not even the strategic preparations, but the actual confidence from the players coming into this map. So I favor Koi right now.
Oh, that's definitely a 180, Lothar.
I mean,
You
it's a
did
land
U-turn.
as well. You know, Sheydos has like this insane buff right now. Imagine walking up to the pit, having 27 kills, 9 deaths on the first map, and you have the support of the viewers here at the stadium. You know, they just destroyed the opposition, and you have them in front of you. That's such an unappreciated aspect of the gameplay that we have. Like, it's a typical sport, you know, when it comes to that regard.
Well, we're into the agent select here. At Ascend, we saw Shao lock in that Gecko. Zyppan is going to play Sky. Well, Kukuka, you wanted the Sky. We got cNed is going to play Omen. What is happening? What is happening?
Oh my God.
What is happening?
Okay. We don't get the Harbor, but we get another. Oh my God.
Happening.
So Wolfen is going to be playing on the kills. Your trexx is actually going to be on that duelist.
starxo is an Omen. This is like a hero swap.
I am confusion.
Wait, can we double check if this was correct? Because
production, please, can we get that agent select again?
I can't do this. I can't do this, man. It's day one. Can we just chill out? Can we take it a little bit slower on day one?
It was so much to digest in just 30 seconds, please. I just need to see it again because everything was different from what we expected. Obviously, from Koi, it was just guessing. But even NAVI, what is going on here?
There's a lot of role changes in both teams, and although I do like the composition from Koi, I'm not certain about how the players are gonna feel comfortable on those picks, right? Specifically also because we just literally see a swap of Killjoy from one player to another when he performed so well in the previous game.
Wow, I can't wait to get into this second map. We're losing our minds over here. Pavlos and Ender, what are you guys thinking for this?
I think this is going to be interesting. I think this is going to be really cool because obviously we know EMEA is a region that loves to play around with the meta, loves to switch things up a bit, and we're seeing this from the first day.
We get to see a little bit of new stuff every single time. Again, Navi rocking with the double controllers here with the Viper as well. Not anything new to Lotus by any means, but seeing cNed on the Omen, seeing trexx on the Raze as well, like back on a duelist for him. That is super, super cool as we get into our second map.
Start of the season, they're allowed to shake things up, but let's shake this arena up a little bit, everybody. Let's hear some noise for NAVI and Koi on Lotus.
Starting on defense, it's going to have to be Navi. Koi on attack, but it seems even though Navi is on the defense, they take early presence over to A main.
Yeah, and when it comes to Lotus, every single round nearly comes to who is fighting for A main. Both teams going to try to take control. The Omen one way there, very powerful to try and lock that down. So eventually we'll see, I think, Navi using Zyppan's flash, these types of things to fight forward. The Omens always love to teleport over as well. So a late clear with the drone, just to see if there is going to be an aggressive push on close. And they do spot the Sky there as well, important.
Very late our drone coming in. Well, very late. I mean, wasn't used instantly, but they find out that cNed's nearby. Maybe the assistance of Zyppan has also been telegraphed, but Koi don't opt in pushing to A.
Let's not forget some stall power over here on the pistol. Not all the utility in the world to dump it down, but you can see he's just getting destroyed.
And so is Angel at that point, but somehow still alive. He got blinded, he got spotted, and he had nades thrown at him, but he's still standing, and that's the important part. He can still delay this push.
Yeah, the spike is just completely trapped on site as well. You can't really bail out. The door was opened, I believe, for these two players to work into the B site.
Oh, if koldamenta is able to push from B onto C, that would be quite a crunch. They're waiting for it to happen. But he's going to have to face up against Zyppan. But Zyppan is hiding out. He's not going to spot it. Will he be able to surprise him? SUYGETSU able to pick it up in the end. Koi with only 2 players remaining, but it's SUYGETSU's turret to do it again. Trexx has to drop, and Navi with first blood.
SUYGETSU, this man, a 3K to finish Ascent, open it up here as well. I'm sorry, that was Sheydos on the upside. What am I even talking about? It's a Killjoy on the opposite end, firing back, showing that it absolutely pays off for him. And I mean, just the amount of stall in that site hit, and it's only going to get worse, right? Let's not forget that. It only gets worse from here as they have all the money in the world to buy the mollies, the nades, in order to stall out those A hits. So again, for Koi, when it comes to the attack in future, right now throwing away some mid presence, trying to maybe split either into C or B eventually, it will so much come down to whether or not they can control A main and what that means for converting that into an A or B hit.
Yeah, remember that stalling is very familiar to us, right? That's exactly what they showed us Ascent. It's what they've been known to do on a lot of these occasions. Dry out their opponents from all of their resources. But Koi, you know, this is a round where they're going to have to take a risk, right? Obviously, on the bottom foot. They have to draw it back in their favor. And you did talk about this A main push a lot, right? This very aggressive maneuver. You will always see teams fighting for this.
Do you think cNed ever gets bored of just one-waying this off cooldown just for the entire round? Like, it's just nuts.
One-way simulator.
Do go down. They are going to be able to catch him on a timing now. When this one falls in just a moment, he will not have for 10 seconds, you can see on the E. After the third smoke, that's where you can punish the Omen.
Yeah, and he might be able to go into what he enjoys most, and that is shooting off heads. Zyppan, the first contact with the Guardian, will get switched off, which means it's a potential weapon to be picked up here from Koi, giving them more chances, but they've run the clock dry for yet another time, even if it's on a different frontier. koldamenta, they've actually put Koi right back on our radar because this A site is open and exactly where the spike can go down.
Yeah, they're able to get the plant too. 3 versus 3, not impossible by any means with a couple of Sheriffs and the Guardian that Sheydos has been able to secure.
Angel softened up. Still some utility available for Koi. Not able to spot out Sheydos.
koldamenta, look at this super late flank into spawn, but losing a player on site, it could be too late.
It's going to take so long for him to get there. The spike isn't being touched just yet. Will they be touching it again? They know where koldamenta's coming from. They allowed him to push through there for a reason, and Navi get his second round on the board.
Nice attempt trying to convert that one, but Navi clean in the retake after losing a couple of players. And that's going to be 5 ult orbs for SUYGETSU after finding the 3K in the pistol.
Good. One step closer to being back.
Not quite close enough, I think, to activate in round 3, which is where you can really try to spin things around in your favor, but very nicely played by him regardless. Now I think this is the round where we're going to first see some A main aggression from Koi, I would hope. I would hope we see some kind of a look from them coming in. especially just countering out this one way. It is also possible they just try to play slow a little bit, and around 40 seconds in the future, when the Omen cooldown cycle is down, they could try to hit during that point. But at that point, because the Viper Wall so frequently, it's not down this time on the attack, but there you see it blocks off A, right? That's really frustrating to deal with because it's another layer you have to break through. And if you're waiting until 40 seconds to even go into A main, oh man, now you have to go through a Viper, the rotations, it gets really challenging.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure thrown at you, and you have to deal with it all, and it all takes time. I think that's the main, my main point of this. We're seeing, obviously, the value of Shao throwing over his utility, but of course, his push into the C site is what they're heading for.
Oh, get out of there!
Into the Nano Swarm, that takes up quite a crunch from trexx.
Yeah, if you're a Killjoy player, go ahead and just screenshot the minimap next round and learn where he puts all these volleys because they are so brutal. There's no room, and it's actually forced Koi to pivot away from the C site. Even with the util down, they're going to move into B now, but there's an alarm there, and Zyppan has another flash. Actually, the flash has been used, so no way to fight through the smoke. Sheydos finds 2.
He does find 2, and that clearly accesses them this B site. Now moving into it, NAVI, they've only got 2 to deal with this. Now, I wouldn't expect them to hold back. This is definitely an attempt they're going to go for. So let's see if cNed is able to find some magic here. Not against starxo, that is. And Shao will have to walk through. starxo's there and waiting yet again, but receives a bullet between the eyes. And vice versa for Shao.
There you go.
2 to 1, Koi on the board.
This is where I would scream Sheydos really loud and then not get confused like I did with SUYGETSU earlier on. I'd be like, yeah, he's popping up last round or last map. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, no,
regardless, Koi, very good on them to bounce back. And here it finally is. Rifle v rifle. I know we're going to have a replay. Enjoy the replay. I'm going to talk about this next round because it is finally going to be a fight right off the rip for Rebel. I can tell you immediately that Koi have 4 players ready to go. They've got flashes. They've got the opportunity for trexx or starxo to try and teleport or jump forward, which is really, really important. But they do have to be a little bit careful on the reflank, or on the retake attempt, because you can see SUYGETSU only 2 orbs off. So if he's able to find a kill or 2 on this side hit, it could shut things down completely.
Well, this time around, Koi do gain this early A main control, which does put some pressure onto NAVI, and you can kind of see where they're shuffling their pieces around. This time, dedicating 3 towards B definitely changes the dynamic of where the pressure is coming through from the attackers.
Now, the baby door over to Sheydos' left is closed, and he actually just got ultimate off of that. The option to try and burst over into the B site could be there if they try to break the baby door, as, again, we're going to keep calling it.
And that's probably the best idea for them, because the A site is just filled to the brim with Killjoy utility.
It's true, and you can see the positioning, 2 players in mid, so they're going to bust down baby door, and you have control over A lobby. You want to work in through that.
Both Alarm Bot and the Aldron were used, but the Aldron was able to stay alive to clear out the site, so trexx can move in quickly. That guarantees them the site, together with the Rolling Thunder. cNed attempts the impossible and ends up paying for it. Zyppan and Angel trying to bring things back. They're in trouble. They're surrounding the site, but Koi are pushing themselves. They lose a lot of players in the process, so he gets through within the midst of it. He's low, but he picks up another one! How does he even do that? Wolfen, up against the 3 now, on the hot seat. Snake fight to his feet, gets burnt alive. And NAVI stay alive and get a 3rd round on the board.
Huge play right there with Angel getting the kill over in B Link. It forced Koi to fight forward into spawn, but they were not ready for SUYGETSU. He absolutely crushes them on that. This is the flank I was talking about. And once you're having pressure from all different angles and you're down numbers, you have to choose one direction and move in that direction as a unit. That's what they did, but it didn't matter. NAVI, SUYGETSU, just better.
Oh, visible frustration on the side of Koi, that's for sure. Nerves getting to them. Yes, they're ahead in this series, but this game is far from over.
Big ultimates from NAVI to work with here for fast retake options. I mean, the double ways to shut off your movement. Absolutely huge. And interestingly enough, NAVI have actually taken a little bit of space over towards Mound, with Angel fighting in front with a very forward orb as well.
My ult is ready.
I think, actually, no, that wasn't an orb. That was a cNed smoke. Drop. A little bit confusing with so many circles on the map and all of our smokers, but that makes a little bit more sense for the early smoke using the Omen there.
Take flight.
Ooh, and this drone into B. If no one's here to break this, they may bite and assume there's more players. As the door opens, they know Angel is stuck here. Back, nobody finds the kill.
But again, Koi, the game plan wasn't B, it was C all along. Maybe to try and bait out the C players out into the open, but still, that doesn't even matter. starxo through the smoke, excuse me. Things are even, 4v4, 50 seconds, and Koi still haven't changed their position.
Oh, the ult back onto Zyppan and clear around Bend.
Such a good clear. They know the backside is for the taking, and the rest of the team can move on, but they need to clear it quickly. starxo looking to move forwards. Navi playing with very close quarters here, very thin margins. Shao able to keep his team on top, but look at starxo. He's doing some damage. Shao in and out of the battle has done his job. With the lockdown being procced, they have the safety of the site.
But again, you see down numbers. You must fight forward. That's the teleport from starxo to try and find something. The initial kill doesn't go his way.
Not impossible for Koi, even though they're down with numbers. But they find themselves good positions.
Oh,
Lockdown and response. This is tough. It's not even pardoned for long. They need to take the fight. koldamenta. That's one. That's two! But he's out in the open. Does not expect Zyppan there. And that is Navi. Easy way into a 4th round.
Oh, Cold never expects the third player to be coming in from spawn there, but Navi are grouping up, making sure they can protect the lockdown or shoot any players trying to escape off the site. Comes the cost of an ultimate, but Navi will secure the round. And it was this right here, because Navi revealed his position, opening the door, right? Assuming it was going to be him. He bid on it completely. It doesn't matter, though, because the fight just went his way. It's exactly what you're going to ask for him when they're investing the Omen smokes, not for the C main control, or for the A main control, but instead to fight forward for Mount.
And that was actually a very important round for Koi, right? Because now their pockets are empty. Recession is hit.
This is so sad. Inflation going up. Can't even buy a rifle for themselves.
It only used to be 2,900 credits.
The price of bullets also, I think, increasing. I think they patched that into the game of the chamber a little while ago, actually.
yeah, it's been a while.
Oh man. Koi, it's tough. They don't have much to work with. Now, that being said, if they are in a world where somehow they find a soft side of the map and they do get the spike down, koldamenta does have access to the Hunter's Fury. But again, that may be a little bit hopeful, a little bit generous for Navi, or for Koi rather. And interestingly enough, it is cNed on the Opman here, pulling out the rifle again because they don't have a traditional duelist in the way. cNed, and I think you're going to see a lot of this with teams playing less duelist in general. The smokes player actually perhaps going into that route. I think Harbor has some options to get out of jail free. I think Omen as well, sort of teleporting off of bad angles.
It's such an interesting story for cNed as well, right? Had such a turbulent year in 2022, excuse me, after the championship win, and hasn't been able to bring it back in the chamber meta.
But that's great though, right? Being able to, in a similar way to a Jet, you take the fight and then you can TP up and away. Not quite as reactive, so you have to win the fight, right? That's the difference between playing Jet compared to another opper. But I think the amount of utility it can give you, especially with the paranoia, smokes as well, like there are definite strong reasons to do so.
Okay, Navi making quick work of this. Walking through smokes, running their fights. That's exactly what you want to see. Clean firepower work. Sheydos maybe to bail out the team on a very tough spot. Hunter's Fury might be able to deny the plant, or the defuse, excuse me. And cNed is low, but he will be able to hold down that spike defuse. And Navi holds on to the lead and increases it even further.
Honestly, a bit shocked koldamenta went for that. I think ended up casting it before his remaining teammate did end up falling, because he had to have that tree player stay alive if there was ever going to be a chance to delay on time with that one. Still, Navi secure the round. We see the op in cNed's hand. I believe that was the first round. He was rocking that one with the team. And it's something we'll continue to track sort of where he's playing, because it is important to keep varying it up, trying to predict your opponents where they're going to be hitting, looking for the opening picks with that, because not always the most fun thing to try and retake with an op, especially on the Omen for the aggressive peaks.
Well, Young Gun trexx, with the showstopper available to it, might opt to go in for a fast explosive push now. Koi, it's been a while since they've been able to find a round.
This is what I call the Lotus experience. About like 6 players just hip firing through the smoke, seeing what ends up happening. Nothing doing over towards A. Now, if this hit were to be canceled, look how far forward cNed has moved over towards Mound. Actually, now he backs away just a little bit. But I do think we're going to end up going in here. Trexx has ultimate, but only one satchel to get into the site.
Gives him a clear indication of what's going on, even if Trexx is blast packing his way into the air. SUYGETSU still finds a way to find him. Ooh, look at this. koldamenta stuck, but not anyone there to be able to capitalize upon it. Spray through the smoke once again. starxo in sight. Little did he know there was an opponent right behind it. SUYGETSU on the higher ground. The fight is on. And Sheydos down he goes. SUYGETSU still alive, but starxo deals with him. Koi on the back foot. Need the kills and need them quick. Shao went so low, but still able to survive throughout it, starxo. Your team is depending on you. And the time is just ticking against him. Spike in no man's land. Oh, this is a rough one. You might as well call it over by this point.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do. The Spike absolutely in Narnia at the moment. And a good stall from Navi once again. I think we have seen when these hits do not immediately work out for Koi, instant troubles. And right there it was trexx. I think only having one satchel, he didn't actually want to commit the ultimate into sight, and he just gets sniped straight out of the air. Maybe if you have a little bit extra movement, it's harder for SUYGETSU to just pop you straight out of the sky, but SUYGETSU has been on fire so far this game.
Yeah, he really has. And I think he's definitely one of those players that can bail out the team even on the worst situations. But Navi was never in those difficult points. I think it was just SUYGETSU able to find those advantages when they cross him. He wins off those duels. Doesn't end up dying.
Yeah, and you know, if the initial sight hit isn't paying off for Koi, they are going to rely more on, oh, do we have the lurk timing? You know, sending a player in through B there. Didn't end up working. Ended up getting picked off. The enemy Killjoy utility spotting him out as he entered into the site. So it will be a timeout called here to try and regroup for Koi.
I think definitely necessary, right? Last time they did draw out the timeout in that second half of Ascent. It did work out. It came in a little bit too late for my liking.
Sure. But after that timeout, looked incredible, right? Had exactly the right ideas to try and close out that half. Now, for Koi, what's been happening to them? I think their C hits have looked abysmal. They have not been able to secure mount control the couple of times they've been fought there. And if they do get mount control, they're actually just not allowed into the site. So I don't like that initially. Perhaps maybe opening door and trying to split into B. That's where I like their odds a little bit more. It hasn't been a ton of contest from Navi, actually, the more I think about it, for aiming anymore. I think early on we saw a lot of that, but now it has just been the smokes largely. So I'd not be surprised if Koi continue trying to play for that, potentially trying to break Baby Door and then split into the B side. Could be something that worked for them previously.
Yeah, Koi struggling a bit to find these entries, find advantages early. trexx, big part of it, trying to enter, not finding those initial picks. The young gun, the 18-year-old, not quite on the case this time.
There is the flash to scout out and realize Koi is here. Now, actually check out where cNed's gone. Glad we snapped over to him, because you don't really expect the op to be hanging out right here next to the box in mid.
Now, if this was a chamber, it'd be totally okay. Because you can just snap your fingers and you're out of there. But now you're stuck.
And you snap your fingers
and he
and
snaps his finger, but he still dies.
That's perfect, though. That's the pinch, breaking through Baby Door into sight. trexx has ultimate, too, trying to go back into A. I don't think Navi would expect that.
Finally, a plan going the way that Koi wanted. Now, they've got the advantage, they need to keep it.
How do they do that? Two players from Navi are going to try to fight through Baby Door right after the timing of the paint shell.
So many players stacked up here. Koi are going to go for the fight. Recon to their feet. They know there's a lot of presence. Who's able to take the fight? Everybody's blind as a bat. SUYGETSU moving forward, but they can't afford to trade evenly. They have to eventually come out on top. Angel on the back end. starxo closes it off. Rolling Thunder enabled, just solidifying the deal. Shao sidesteps it. Wolfen is able to take them out, and that's Koi on the board once again.
The Koi timeout buff is here. They just download exactly what they need to do. Coming into that again, the timing of when they're peeking into B main and breaking down Baby Door, right? Like, cNed had nothing E2. Yes, he missed the opening shot. You have to hit that one, especially when you're playing the Omen. But normally you'd be able to TP out there and be fine. Not with the timing of how Koi pinched into that B site. There's nothing you can do there.
Maybe you could have done it without expending the Rolling Thunder, but you never know if you're going to win the fights in the end. So a guarantee.
At the end of the day, I am all aboard to use every ult you can to win a round, because having your number at the top of the scoreboard be bigger than it was before is way better than being able to use your ult in the next round.
For sure. To talk about orbs available, Navi's got 4 of them. A few of them quite unimpactful.
There's one from Koi, actually.
Let's just see.
Into the middle of site to scout out, and that actually tells them the Killjoy setup's here, but they get through pretty fine.
Do they, though? Because Shao's already taken one down. Lockdown is available, so they don't quite have the comfort of putting the spike down.
The paint shells
busted the lockdown. Brilliant place, Lee. The paint shells.
Now, this initial kill, wow, another util kill from trexx. That's just absolutely nuts. Now, ulting out from the Omen. cNed is here with the team for the quick retake.
And a different setup now for the post plant. They're going to play it out from long, try to deny the spike diffusal, but this gives a lot of space for NAVI to move in.
It is planted for Koi to play here from Mound. They have at least one molly, maybe two, onto the spike as well. Seekers are going to do a good job clearing away the close angles, but the far ones are still a problem.
Seekers are out. They're figuring out the play now from Koi. koldamenta to the back of the site, yet to be cleared. That's spending a lot of time for NAVI. They've only just picked it up, and trexx is able to trade it right back out. Paint shells onto the spike. Zyppan has to move out of it. He's touched it, but he can't stick it. And now they touch it once again. trexx sprays in that direction. It's being diffused. It's being diffused. It's being diffused. And nobody's able to stop it. Ninja defuse by cNed, putting NAVI on the board yet again.
What is that? trexx gets an ace and they can't win the round. Nothing's going right for Koi. cNed, just a criminal right there inside the smoke, taking that round straight through the fingers. Absolutely nuts, because everything was going right. It's a paint shell kill into another spam kill for trexx. Like, trexx couldn't be stopped with all these kills through smoke.
Kill him, you must.
Kill him, you must.
Unkillable, apparently, cNed. And yeah, that round had Koi's name written all over it. They played all their cards right, apart from
killing the person defusing the spike. That's the one thing
exactly
you got to be able to stop. It's actually the most important thing, believe it or not.
Yeah, that trump card beats everything, really.
Yeah, don't let big KDA tell you otherwise. It's not about the scoreboard numbers. It's about the spike, whether or not it can be diffused.
Preemptive Viper Spit coming through. Yes, NAVI used 3 out of the 4 they had available prior to this. So kind of based on that C site. So Koi aren't choosing to move to that. Instead, they opt towards the right-hand side.
Sure. Koi looking for this B split again, I would presume, with the spike up in mid. Gonna want to bust down Baby Door, but
yeah, trexx hasn't had the best of luck this game so
again,
far.
the Lotus experience, just getting kills through smokes non-stop.
Feels you're talking from personal trauma here, Ender.
Yeah, a little bit. It's been rough. Oh my god, wait, I just realized. The bottom of B site, it's like our pit here, right? Ooh. It's just sunk into the ground.
True.
A lot of similarity.
Ours looks better. Wolfen trying to bring it back. Koi in the back foot. They've got on the site, but the fact that NAVI are winning out on all of these fights, Wolfen cannot find it. Oh, it's getting a bit rough here, and starxo is just hiding within his own smoke. Finds one, maybe doable if he checks behind him. Jumps on top, but he's visible to SUYGETSU, and NAVI cannot stop winning.
This is crazy, because it feels like a couple rounds now, Koi have put themselves in really good positions, right? Splitting into B right here. The previous round, trexx gets an ace, but NAVI are just winning out from these tough positions. One before a fluke, but right here, very solid. Shao getting this nuts kill through smoke. Holding the attention outside of A2. I think cNed especially has realized this, that after the plants on the B site, when it has been the C split, there has been a lot of, or the A split rather, there has been a lot of re-aggression from Koi's side to get control.
Baba
outside of
does not
Baby
look happy. Baba does not look happy at all. Obviously, he's had his impacts on those timeouts to let the team know what to do, what not to do. And has allowed Koi to scramble themselves a round or two, but not exactly what he'd love to see right now.
So Koi trying to farm up some orbs, right? This will guarantee Wolfen at least has his ult for the final round of half. Trexx has his now, but it's kind of an awkward position when it's your big ult site hit tool. But also, trexx is probably the guy that wants to be taking the opening fights. They're going to have to use all their info util to clear it away to make sure trexx can get nearby and up close to pop out with that ultimate. But no, he gets shut down. That's exactly what you can't have happen on this hit from Koi.
Ooh, Wolfen. This is quite a step up in stages you played so far.
At least, though, Wolfen farmed both orbs, so they do have another option to get into the site. But again, all this site util is going to be spent to try and stall out the hit. It's actually not quite here, so they are going to get in.
Last time they got left here, they were able to successfully take the site, have optimal amount of players to end up on top, but it was an Ninja defuse that killed them off in the end. 4v4, Spray, desperate from Angel. We're waiting for all of the players to move in from two different directions.
starxo will be the break here for Koi. If he's able to get a big flank in, but he has to go quickly because Navi are going in hot.
Trailblazer cleaning the site. Paranoia to make sure they can move onto the back end. Wolfen still on point, still delivering. Does get shut down, and Navi has an advantage here. But look at starxo. He's right behind them, and he's able to put them to their graves. Paranoia thrown, but that's even before Angel ends up falling. Zyppan trying to fight it. starxo, TP into the smoke, spraying across. starxo wins it. Koi on the board.
Oh, that's how you do it right there. starxo, the flank works out, coming in a little bit delayed, shuts it down. Almost dodgy for a second, but the TP in motion, he's able to hide inside his own smoke. He'd actually set up for himself a few seconds before that one. And crucially this time, they killed the person defusing the spike.
They figured it out.
That's Valorant.
That's Valorant right there.
Sometimes Valorant is a very simple game. Sometimes it's more complicated, like when Trexx and Koldamenta have the ultimates ready to go, when starxo maybe wants to find an orb at the start of this round to go for it. Also, when Navi are spending so much util to control a main. This is something I was maybe expecting to see a little bit earlier on. Sort of the meta that developed the lock-in was so much being spent to control Rubble, fighting for it very aggressively, but Koi aren't even going for it this time.
The good thing is that Thrash can be used again. So it's not like you've used the ultimate, okay, that's gone now.
He just needs a rest, you know?
Yeah, just for a bit.
He needs a little head pat, pick him back up, and you can send it once again. Now, importantly, cNed shuts down Trexx once again, so it's again not an option. This is the eternal difficulty. Having Raze with ult up.
cNed's loving life.
It's tough.
That aggression.
One way will come out again. They may try to fight through this one because starxo, the flank, it's going to get shut down with the ultimate.
But he's done enough. He's lured out Navi out of that choke point, which Koi could have used to move forward.
The problem is they don't necessarily know all of that. There's still a one-way there. They heard Gecko util there at the start of the round, so they have to go for something different. Now, if they move into B here, a big difference between this and their other B hits, they don't have A main control, so they can't split in through Baby Door, and there's a much easier chance that Angel just shuts it down.
And also, koldamenta can't die. He's got an headshot. Oh, I felt the caster's curse right through my bones there. He's at 5 points of health. Angel trying to stay alive. He's able to sidestep it. Gets a lot of tags, which gives information from Sheydos to move forwards, but ends up falling either way. But Navi are just on the case. starxo trying to give his team a chance to move into this. But still, starxo in the smoke. Can be deadly, but he's alone. Shorty. Oh, valiant effort, but cNed has got that under lock and key.
Yeah, cNed with the Goomba Stomp right there just shuts him down completely. Navi. What a have to bounce back after a little bit of a shaky ascent. Koi definitely got the better of them right there, but 9 on the defense. Had to claw a few rounds away with some shenanigans, but at the end of the day, I think we've seen incredible play. Zyppan, especially the SUYGETSU, it's been nuts.
The pace from Navi is definitely better, right? You could see a lot of confidence, being able to pressure their opponents. There were a lot of moments that Koi were questioning the play. It felt like it was a much more unknown field for Koi, right? Yeah. Something they never rehearsed, something that they never really practiced against. The way that Navi was playing, it felt strange to Koi.
I think, no doubt, Koi do have experience on the map, but the problem is, like, only one thing really worked out for them. They realized early, okay, C-hits are just almost impossible with all the util being sent onto us. And then actually kind of got danced around the map a little bit because the Killjoy just ended up leaving C and they weren't really going there still all too often. The one play that worked for them, the BC split, right? Working in through Baby Door onto the site, that looked pretty solid, all things considered. But at the end of the day, I think even Koi are going to be like, okay, we should have won this round. Like, this is, we did win this round. It got stolen away from us somehow.
And that set them back economically, which crumbled them even further, losing even greater advantages. And it's just put them in a greatly disadvantageous spot. 9-3, far from optimal, but now they're the ones on the defense.
Yeah, and yeah, they're moving over to defense. Yeah. Also, like, 9-3, that's just 6 rounds different, guys. Like, Valorant is a very quick game. Things can turn around very, very quickly, for sure. Especially if you kick off this pistol on the right foot for Koi. But, I mean, I'm just really curious to see what their approach to the map is going to be, because obviously they don't have the Viper in their composition, so a little bit less in terms of the overall stall that they are going to have at their disposal. But they do have the Breach, they do have the Raze, so some more options for early aggressive plays or quick retakes with those Breach stun lines.
It's interesting to see the fluctuations in play here for Navi, the way that we're used to seeing them, willing to do something new. And that is certainly not something we've seen. If you think about FPX, the previous iteration of this roster, right? I mean, pretty much the same core, apart from Artis being in the seat of cNed. They always switch things up. That was their game plan. It was pretty much difficult to prep against this team.
I feel like this team is always playing like meta adjacent a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Like they play a lot of the things that are really good, and then Angel's like, yeah, but this is an Omen map actually. When everyone's playing, you know, the Astra or something like this. I really like the creativity and the way it forces you to kind of rethink the way you play a lot of your games, and especially like the Gecko. I don't think I've been super impressed by overall, but it is another layer that more recent Agent coming out does play very differently to a lot of the other initiators.
It's definitely got Koi scratching their heads. This one took a while for them to figure it all out, and it seems
Hold
that they
on,
couldn't
hold
do
on.
it.
Sorry, there's a door open in the arena. I can literally see the corner of the Gecko boba truck, and I'm so jealous right now. I think we have a boba truck here.
Oh my
Literally
God.
being in the studio is so sick, man.
Well, I know where I'm going after this game.
Yeah. We'll invite Pansy and Hypoc up here after this one.
Yeah, they can
and
do
then
all
we'll
the
get our boba.
talky stuff. We can go drink a boba. And that's what you guys can do at home. Well, not
No,
at home,
you can't.
but
You
if
have
you
to be
join
here for the
here
boba.
in the Coliseum, you could.
Oh no. SUYGETSU's playing on the cringe angle, but he loses.
Scanning ahead.
The cringe angle.
Yeah, I feel like any sort of like pixel tiny angle. Oh no. Oh no. So I was like, my guy, how did you lose that fight? You're supposed to see them and they're not really supposed to see you.
Trexx steps up. I think he heard the criticism of the previous half and now stepping up to the plate. Another kill going his way. Now, A-Site sort of opened up, and I feel like Koi are happy to give this land over. Obviously, with the numbers, they're a little bit more comfortable to play the retake here.
Yeah, ooh, this wall. I'm pretty sure that wall is meant to block off Heaven right there. Maybe a little bit low. Angel just trying to see if he can find one kill. Because literally the way Koi is playing, again, this has been a constant back to Ascent. When they get numbers on defense, they play very heads up D. Grouping up together, being in positions where they can trade one another, abandoning the site. Doesn't matter if Navi plant the spike right here. Yeah, you know, maybe you deny him an orb, maybe you deny him a little bit of money, but realistically, Koi are playing for round wins here. That's the only thing that matters.
And they read into exactly what Navi wanted to do there. Cause pressure onto Koi on the post-plant setup, but no, that doesn't even end up happening. Wolfen is good to hold on, and Trexx triples up. Shao, the only man standing, and pretty much hoping for a dream at this point. Give it a spray across, find some low players, but that shall not happen. A flawless pistol round to get Koi started off well on the second half.
Yeah, that's the way to do it right there for Koi. And I think I wonder how much we'll see, because obviously this one opened up with a couple of picks, just the Sheriffs finding value. So I do wonder. Oh my God, that's actually
Did we get that
crazy.
freeze frame as well? Just to.
Yeah. Just hold on it for a little bit of an extra second, and there you can actually see the wall not blocking off Heaven. Does give an extra angle to shut down and make that a very, very clean retake for Koi.
We haven't actually seen any second round buy so far, have we?
Hold on a second. Did starxo only... He didn't actually buy a second smoke. Yeah, starxo is rocking the solo smoke. He obviously has light armor and the Vandal right here. Just maybe making him go a little bit broke, but that means you can't maintain the one-ways. You can see he's playing for mount. He has the one, but now is in a position where if he falters here, that could be bad news.
He's out of harm's way. At least for this moment, no more fights taken over, but it's definitely forcing Navi to tread lightly.
100%. koldamenta actually the only player with the Sheriff here. A little bit unfortunate that he has to be in the situation to fight aggressively forward. Using the drone spots out at least two, maybe here's a third coming around the wall. But they may end up just going for the spam and falling back, because again, having the Sheriff there as your only ability to trade out the rifle, not ideal. They'd rather regroup, get Sheydos involved with the Spectre to fight back.
Shao, only man trying to cause commotion towards the C site, maybe to lure more players in, make the endeavor a little bit simpler for Navi on the other side. But no, sort of leading the charge actually and calling for his teammates to rotate over to him.
He's like, guys, I have C site. He's not
No,
actually in C site. It's like, no, we still have to fight our way through this. Been there, done that. But there's only one person immediately here. Oh, this paranoia.
Oh, catches all
God.
5 of them. And simple pickings for starxo. The rest of them fall behind the smoke. But again, Koi comfortable. Very comfortable. Just hold back, stay chill.
It's kind of sad that smoke, I think, actually cost starxo a kill or two. Obviously, going for it is the right call, just for the extra stall, and now they're moving into Killjoy util. This is not a fun.
Clean, very clean. Could it be two simultaneous? Well, one after the other, flawless rounds. Yeah, it's going to be just that.
All right, what's Navi going to bring for us this time around? Because one of the weaknesses, theoretically, you have with a comp like this, especially moving over to the attacks, you have far less tools than perhaps the Koi would have with a raise to dive into a site. You don't have that ability to quickly close the gap, apart from cNed, but that teleport obviously takes you a long time to actually pull your gun out after that. So the util has to be there. They've got a lot of flashes to work with, a lot of ways to reduce the lines of sight with the double smokes. But it is Lotus. It comes down to a main control. And actually not much of a fight from Koi to battle back into that area this time around, surprisingly enough.
What's interesting about Koi is that they're one of the teams in EMEA that hasn't had much presence in the off-season. They only had one match in lock-in. So it's, yeah, obviously a team that you don't know much of.
Yeah, especially when it comes to Lotus. Don't have anything, really.
Navi so far on defense seem to have them well figured out, at least playing their own game, and it was sufficient to deal with Koi thus far, but now have to find their way back in. And this is the round to do it, right? You've got guns. Now on this Logitech power-up round. koldamenta through.
Nice.
Shao deals with him. Still, Navi on the site, they look comfortable, but they're falling right back to play with setups.
Yeah, they've got so much post-plant utility. Also the forward positions from cNed. And Shao could be massive here. You don't expect him there, playing with the verticality, and he gets a second!
cNed delivers. Sheydos eventually take him down. But he's done all the damage necessary. Now with the post-plant setup that Navi have, it's just near impossible. Natus Swarm delaying even further. Trexx trying to find his entry here, trying to find a way into this. But it's just not that easy. Navi, with a first buy of this half, are able to solidify a victory.
Oh, I love that. The forward positions. Kind of gambly going off of those. And but still, cNed is able to find two off of that box. Absolutely fantastic stuff. I think we're going to need to see Koi put up a little bit more of a fight early on, leading up to it, because the post-plant util is absolutely going to be raining down if they delay their retakes at all.
Great start from Navi.
Oh my god.
I think
Pavlos.
Okay.
I'm sorry, we have to freak out because we just got a boba delivery up to the caster desk. So thank you so much to the staff on the ground here. That is absolutely huge. We're going to take a timeout so we can take a little sip.
Thank you, teams, for letting us have a sip from our boba. That's pretty cool. Thank you very much for that.
This is fantastic.
This is great.
I think like the only reason that I would have stayed in LA to cast NA, it would have been for the boba. But you know, even we've got that here. We've got literally everything. Best teams, best drinks, best duos.
You went there already?
Yeah. Well, look, first date, and it's already working for me.
Yeah. Maybe we can pan out to the window to show everybody our bobas.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's nice. It's also gecko themed. Gotta love it.
Cheers, everybody.
All right, Koi, calling a timeout. They've been the timeout champions of today. Okay?
Yeah.
They've called 2 timeouts so far, won both rounds immediately after the timeouts.
Very true.
And now on defense, what's it going to be? Because I see Breach and Raze next to each other. I expect immediate action possibilities. Trexx pushed up very far forward into the smoke looking for the spam. But not only skirt this entirely, they are going to be going straight into the Killjoy meat grinder. And even if they pivot away and open door to go into C, there's still cNed there, or sorry, still starxo there with the paranoia ready to fight through. Oh man, cNed gets way too comfortable pushing into the spawn and shut down.
He got whacked in the face there. Didn't look comfortable. starxo, massive paranoia, catches out 3, but still ends up dropping. Angel on the sidelines delivering. Navi on top. They've got side control. They're defusing. Have they learned their lesson? It's defused. Spike defused. And Navi are on top yet again. Well,
Koi won the round.
Yeah,
Koi literally stole the play out of Navi's book, right? Navi were
Yeah.
like, hey, we can just full stick while, you know, chaos is raining around us. Koi do it this time around. Doesn't even matter if Navi run out with stronger numbers. Fantastic stuff. Can be really hard, I think, to play the post plant on that B site, similar to like a Haven being the other 3-site map. That site, very small, unless you're entrenched on the site. Not the best sight lines to try and kill the diffusers. Here, though, looking for that similar A main aggression. Double satchel all the way up to Rebel, and the concuss to force them back. So they also have the one-way extra layer on layer on layer, but it costs you a lot for that control. Yeah, Mosh, get him.
Go get him. Showed early presence to B, which has caused a lot of rotations from Koi, but they quickly pivot to C, and it's actually kind of caught them off guard. Angel, even though he's paranoid, just walks through, presses trigger 1, presses W, he's into the site, and he's let his entire team move into that as well.
Ooh. starxo, just a pixel he's able to hide in. Not that it'll mean the end of the world, and the spike has been planted with 5 players alive. That is huge!
But look at this, Koi is starting to win out on the trades. Angel gets 1, drops, but Koi on top of this, on top of the action, but they need to get the spike defuse. Trexx delivering once again for SUYGETSU. Yes, he's got nano swarms. Yes, he can shoot upon Wolfen, but he's being rained upon by players. And Koi will be able to get the defuse and get the dub as well.
For a moment, you thought maybe it can happen, but nah, Trexx is going to shut that down immediately. He's been unleashed, I think, a little bit on the Rays. Had the ace earlier in the round. They lost a 3K right there. A different look flexing around between Duelist and Initiator for him in this Koi roster. And I'm really curious to see how much flexibility they continue to show, map to map, series to series, who's going to be on what role, because we have already seen just in 2 maps with these 2 teams, a lot of mix and match, plug and play in who's actually on what.
Wow, you can definitely tell the pressure is on in this match when you have so many timeouts, one after the other, right? Obviously, each team having a timeout each half. Now this is the pressure point, right? You're at a 10-7. Whoever runs off with some kill here, there's a chance of them, you know, closing out this game or closing out that gap.
Yeah, 100%. NAVI going to try and figure things out for them. Again, this was the first round, really, that they saw that heavy A main fight. So perhaps being like, okay, maybe we can bait out the utility, fight back into it. With all the flashes we have, the crowd's getting a little bit of extra encouragement down there on the stage. You'll love to see it.
Hell yeah.
Is that what year we're in?
Is it?
2023. Wow.
Fancy that.
A Coliseum in 2023. Revolutionary.
Coliseum of the future.
And we have a ceiling. That's
crazy. What if it rains? It's spill in.
Yeah, it's important. It was snowing earlier
it was
today,
snowing
actually.
today.
Might be sunny on Lotus,
10 degrees and sunny. Weird.
Berlin weather is nuts.
Yeah. Weather be tripping. All right, Koi, 7 rounds in the bag. They've been able to close up that gap with 2 consecutive ones, both based on defusals and site executes and post plants. And they do it again. So far, you know, they've started to gain the number of NAVI. Troubled with these trades. NAVI this time showing some early presence to the left-hand side, but are quickly traversing again towards A.
Yeah, Angel's been able to creep up over to Rebel here, now calling the rotation of his teams. Oh my word. He thought there was a lot more waiting here. It's still 2 kills.
Angel got caught. Shao trying to help out. He died as well. And now we're looking at a big numbers advantage here for Koi.
Wow, a timing attack into A main right there. I think called off of the Koi members on C being like, hey, it's been quiet here. I think they've actually rotated off.
But Trexx is really close to this. He's trying to punish them with that disadvantage they have. They're taking the fight to them. Massive. 8 on the board, 2 away from NAVI.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you just called it timeout versus Koi. Are you trolling?
Yeah, it's a timeout buff again, right?
Yeah. That one, I think, a little bit more reacting actually on the fly than credible, you know, discussing what they're doing in the 60 seconds. But I'm almost positive that play of the breach hold has to come from the A or the C players that are like, hey, it's been 20 seconds, nothing's happened. They're either about to hit us or they are on Rebel right now.
But it's a good point to make, right? If you make a timeout, still the opposing team can speak to their coach, right?
True.
So it's also something you need to consider. And I think how much impact Baba has to the Koi's performance, I think when you play against him, you always need to think of that.
Oh, that looked like it was going to be a monster shock dart, but I don't actually think it ended up clipping anyone. 4 players over towards A, but again, similar to the last round, they show early presence, they back away, and SUYGETSU completely isolated, just Sheriff in hand. They're going to dodge away again. Koi trying to maintain their numbers advantage for as long as they can.
Yeah, too many bullets were flying towards his position there. It was impossible for him to hold down the fort. It feels like NAVI are trying to hold him to a fork, because Koi is just pushing them left, right, bullying them. On every instance, every trade, they end up falling far behind. Now spotted with their attempted entry towards B. Unfortunately, Mosh Pit sent. Wolfen can't stick around. These sides slowly, meticulously moving in. Snakebite delivered. Look how fast cNed is pushed, though.
Wingman's going to plant, but Sheydos has full util for the retake. This could come in quickly, but he falls.
The fact that cNed was so far forward was so impactful, so
He's still
crucial.
up there.
And he's still doing the dirty business behind that poison cloud. Now Viper Spit delivered. Trexx on the back foot. Koya turning things around here. Koya really doing numbers on Navi right now. starxo with that shorty doing the world of hurt. And that is how it ends. Koi deliver with a wonderful retake, 9 on the board, now 1 away from Navi.
Oh yeah, Koi mounting the comeback here. Only dropping a single round on this defensive half. They have had an answer to everything Navi has thrown at them. And right here, opening the door as the pit is going down. Absolutely fantastic to punish. Also, I got to shout out starxo. Absolute base shorty enjoyer as a secondary, especially when there's a Viper's Pit on the opposite side.
I can't believe more teams aren't using the shorty that much.
Yeah.
It's just so strong.
I love it. I love it as a little secondary option there. Pull it away, play the tight angle.
Yeah.
Oftentimes you're going to be in a one and done spot anyway, so I'd go for that any day of the week.
You might call it cringe. For error as well.
I call it treasure.
You call it treasure?
Yeah.
Why?
It was a Skyrim quote.
Oh,
don't worry about it.
Sorry.
Yep. Sorry, we're down the rabbit hole on that one.
Yeah. It's a new duo. We'll figure out each other's nerd influences. We'll get there.
That's a big one for me. All right, let's see what Koi can do here on the retake. Because again, they're not playing entrenched on A. They're playing Heaven, they're playing Rope, they're playing too fast retake as their main option. And Trexx has ultimate too, so Sheydos can double flash do everything, but having Wingman really stops the ability for the fast retake to come in because you don't have to commit multiple members physically onto the site.
Wingman is shining here. He's a 6th player of Navi. But can the rest of the team follow it up here? Wolfen, look how far he's pushing. cNed, oh, he's able to strafe away from that, but no running away from Trexx's showstopper. Zyppan into the
lockdown.
fight, but no, the look at the lockdown has to run away from it. Wolfen is detained, which means it's a 2v3 fight for a while, and will Navi be able to take advantage of this? Zyppan might as well do that. Sheydos delivering smoke.
He's defusing.
Noozle is diffused halfway, but they take the fight in the end, and they come up on top. Koi, they've made the comeback, now on equal footing with Navi.
All evened up here in the Coliseum, 10-10. And it's Trexx finding 2 kills with that showstopper. Great pathing here into tree, and oh no, cNed TP straight into his teammate.
Roll it back a bit, and halftime 9-3.
Yep.
In this half, Navi have only won 1 round.
That is tough. And it's another timeout for them.
Look, it's the first match of the season. What does it mean? I don't know, but come on. Koi, they're the underdogs, clearly.
I mean,
clearly.
I know it doesn't really mean anything, but I think it's cool just to win the first match here in the Coliseum. Here, EMEA, VCT, after the partnership came down, like, these are teams we're going to be seeing for a while. Faces, players we're going to be seeing all through this year.
And it's a single round robin on the regular season, right? You don't get to play against the other team twice. So every match kind of matters.
Yeah. You know, we say every game counts. That's the typical one.
Hey, this is
also,
VCT here, man.
I know this is VCT, but I have to shout out Koi because the entire Koi roster last weekend actually rolled up to LEC to cheer on their fellow teammates. They're playing on the stage over there, so super cool, I think, to see some camaraderie between the sports, between the titles, and now to see them mounting a comeback to potentially just 2-0, wrap this one up quick.
Speak of that, remember, Simpla's here.
Yeah, that's a little bit cooler than anything, I think. Absolutely love it.
Double digits across the board. Another timeout taken. Ooh, yes, a monster is on the loose, but what can it find? That do be the question.
I think it was blind for most of it, actually.
Still,
just actually, again, no, but you can see, like, turning around after just clearing that one out to get the cooldown back. It's actually very important and just a very strong scouting tool, I think. We've seen Shao use that a couple of times, just trying to clear out areas. Not so much as the power of, oh, I initiated, you know, I CC'd you, I locked you down, anything like this. No, just using it to clear that one out and reactivate later on.
Navi, okay, they've got The main control of A site early. Of course, they haven't pushed up
Line
too
up.
far forwards.
All right,
Where's
download
the
that
Nashville
one,
going?
my Twitter friends.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Making
That,
sure
of
no
course,
one's holding that.
yeah, to punish, you know, trexx satcheling there or starxo
Starxo,
teleporting.
exactly.
The Omen TP up to top level.
I mean, that's what cNed
so
did
much.
numerous times.
Yeah.
So dealing with that is crucial. But they spend a lot of time doing that, right? They haven't really gained all that important ground, and there's only 40 seconds on the clock.
They haven't been able to. I think they played for the C orb. Now they can maybe get an A and eventually split into B. So much scouting here. The Skydog too. They've been able to get all over this site without taking any engagements.
koldamenta, he's detained. Can he get killed?
Somebody get him.
No one's
It's only
going after
5
him.
seconds. He's gonna be fine.
Oh, Wolfen on the back line. Only able to find one still. Sheydos on the fight. Koi have got the number.
Oh.
Sheydos doubles up. Zyppan and SUYGETSU on the hot seat. How are you going to deal with this one? SUYGETSU, you managed to get NAVI out of so many difficult positions. You're going to have to do it again. Flashed once again. Spike touched. Oh, the spike is touched. You know what that means? It's being diffused and it's being held. No one can see him and cannot stop him. Koi not only have been able to catch up with NAVI, now they're the ones in the lead, and SUYGETSU cannot make a statement piece.
Sheydos with a 4K finishing out the round. He's got the Rolling Thunder back again. Koi just cannot be stopped on this defensive half. And NAVI have to find an answer because they've gone for this B plant multiple times, but they can't hold the post, and it comes down to A-Link control. So consistently, Koi have been beating them in A-Link, and if you don't, as the attackers, maintain control over that area, you don't get to retake the site once you abandon it. You have to play forward. You have to be able to entrench yourself in main and in A-Link. Otherwise, you see what you saw there. They can't shoot the diffuser. There's 4 players alive, and they're just completely trapped without a line of sight onto the spike.
NAVI looking to go for something quick towards the C site potentially, but no, it's Koi setting up a little bit of a
Oh, look at
play
that!
to see. Rolling Thunder, they've done this before, and they capitalize upon it. They find 2 in the return of 1.
Ooh, big pick from Angel in mid as well. All of a sudden, this round just going completely NAVI. I really like the play from Koi, but it doesn't matter. The kills were not enough outside of C.
Abuelo, El Capitan, however you want to call koldamenta, he's the one. Has to do the heavy lifting of this round. They know where he is. That's the unfortunate part for him.
Shock not going to do anything. A little low on that. He was firing them through smoke, so a little bit hard to judge the trajectory. And NAVI back to 11.
The thing is, even if NAVI get this, they're not going to do much to the economy of Koi because they've won so many rounds in a row, right? 6 consecutive rounds. That put them in a really strong position. 5 guns, you've got the operator out as well.
And honestly, with the new, we still have multiple light armors on players, economy discourse is kind of fake in this day and age. You almost always are going to have enough to fight, especially into these final 2 rounds.
We saw 2 defensive, aggressive Rolling Thunders this game. And you can definitely see how much impact it has when you have info on the push.
Ooh. They're playing quiet for control here, and it's punished.
Faking out the long hold of a poison cloud. Still, trexx alive. Can he hold on? The 18-year-old battling out for his life, but he's been able to hold it out.
NAVI have to act quickly. Look at this ultimate. cNed went straight into the middle of A site, but they still have to get past Sheydos here.
They're definitely switching up the pace here. 2 different corners that Sheydos had to deal with and couldn't quite get there. starxo now alone. NAVI are winning the trades finally, and they're actually going to put themselves on map point.
The timing on the swing there, too, punishing Sheydos was perfect. That angle, a really tough one to be in. Maybe fightable if the enemy team misplays, but not NAVI. They have locked it down. And it's going to be them on match point, even after Koi carried so much momentum throughout this half. NAVI have been able to stabilize.
Being able to stop that tempo from increasing from Koi was so important.
Yeah, 2 rounds in a row, right? The previous one, it was the breach ult, right? That didn't end up paying off quite as much as you wanted it to. And then right there, kind of a unique attempt from Koi, just creeping up A main, as opposed to unloading so much utility that you would normally see to control over towards Rebel. And I kind of like the idea as an off strategy, but it ends up getting punished, and NAVI are going to have to try and replicate some of this success moving into the next. But it's also possible Koi just don't give them that early fight, and then we're put in a situation where late in the round, NAVI try to work into the B site, and in that situation, I have to say, you must control A-Link. There's nothing more important.
And what is troubling to me now is that Koi, from this particular match we've seen and from the past as well, can be very slow with their approaches, can take their time, can run off the clock. And with Navi's aggression, I feel their thought behind this is it's gonna put them in that direction even further.
So what I want to see here from Navi, right? Two big ultimates on either side, but they nullify each other. koldamenta can just cancel the lockdown with the Hunter's Fury. So what Navi can do to try and play into B if they do want to, fight for C control first, bust down Baby Door, and then leave someone entrenched over by Big Door, right? The turning one next to Rebel. And then you can sort of pinch into the back as Koi try to re-clear in through A-Link. Could also just force straight into this A site, because if they find the kill onto Sova, that opens up so many opportunities. But koldamenta's not going to let that happen. You can see the second he's spotted out, run to the hills. He's in spawn. There's no way he's going to give a fight over. There's no way he's going to lose that ultimate.
He knows its value. Smart thinking. Navi moving towards this A site. Koi, don't quite know of this, obviously. Without pushing forwards, without spending utility to finding that information, you're not going to have it.
Navi don't want to split into door. But Wolfen can try to timing bust this one down. It's already a little bit damaged. So can try to get that. Oh, man. Didn't look like the pen was happening on that. The attempt was made nonetheless.
You can actually feel the pressure mounting.
Oh, Wingman got shot. That's actually really big. Now they have to fight on site, and Angel falls.
And with the aftershock, you can't quite get to it. And when you're out into the open, you're in the mercy of trexx.
koldamenta still has ultimate too. They're all going to just try to shut it down. The shorty!
With a shorty!
What?
And he gets it! koldamenta, being alive, uses Hunter Fury. And they've done so much. Navi on a difficult spot. One player remaining. Zyppan cannot do it. And we're going to OT. Second map of VCT EMEA, and we're going to overtime.
EMEA just does it better. It's never a boring day here in the Coliseum. And oh my word, the shorty, the base shorty secondary user, doesn't matter if you're nearsighted by the Omen. He is right in there with that one, shutting it down. A fantastic denial on the plant from Koi. And now we get to run it back for at least 2 more rounds.
trexx had a very difficult first half. And now he's really stepped up. He's found his comfort. He's not afraid of going in their faces very quickly, even when things don't seem to be in their favor that much. I'm loving this confidence.
Yeah, and what we're going to need to see from him now, because Koi, return over to the attack. Koi were really slow, right? Back on Ascent a little bit, also here. Now, playing a little bit differently, trexx is getting involved, because again, Navi has so many fantastic stall tools to stop you from hitting a site late into the round. So I like seeing a little bit more off the rip. Now trexx has just sort of posted himself back Rebel at the time being. And the rest of the team, I'm really curious what it is they end up doing. Because now with the bird not actually spotting trexx could look to creep. That's what I expect him to do. You can see him slowly maybe working it up. He could be the late backstab if they were to commit into a B hit, but I actually don't think that's going to be the case. They may end up trying to sell it a C hit and then move back into trexx, but I actually wasn't quite able to catch if that dog saw trexx or not.
Oh, even if it did, trexx was so close to doubling up. 1 for 1 should be good enough, but at least it gives info for Navi that there's no more players other than trexx there.
But here's the full rotate, right? I think they were going for exactly what I was saying, right? They wanted to move into A, but because they ended up losing trexx, instead, it'll be a bit of a B look. You can see they're worried perhaps about a late flank coming in from that A side. What is Shao?
30 seconds left.
Can try to stall here with the mosh pit.
Yeah, he's definitely going to do that.
Not if he gets blinded and pushed back, though. That's huge. Should be an easy plant.
They do get the plant Shao in the corner, but he's still able to find the kill. Still close, Angel trying to get into the fight without any utility. Scratch that with a paranoia, and koldamenta cannot see a thing. Navi sees the opportunity, take it on. I will be ahead at the first round of OT.
Fantastic paranoia flying on in there, and giving little bro the defuse as well. You love to see it coming on in for Navi. Back on match point once again to try and force us to split. And a little bit of all the new stuff today. But Navi were so unsuccessful on their attacking half. Both teams really struggling to get anything done there. I think you can see maybe a little bit why. It's very hard to hold in the post plants, especially on this B site. Again, was trying to sort of play tucked in that corner so he could swing, or the teammates could swing off of his contact, but with the blind right up close, that paranoia line is absolutely perfect to shut down any options.
Look, for both of these teams, the defense has been the strongest, so it's no surprise that NAVI pick up their defensive round. It's a matter of who wins out their attacking round first that will make the difference.
Oh, man. Angel gets away. A little bit too close for comfort right there. Actually, seeing the paranoia coming through from starxo, that could signal the hit into the C side because that's the main stall tool that Koi have been using. Koi's Killjoy setup, I think every round has been on B, and the paranoia from Bend has been the only way to shut down this hit super reliably.
Their only way of stopping the C site push is with a smoke and the crossfire setup of starxo and Wolfen.
Again, I love it. Oh, no!
Talk about the crossbar setup. Wolfen straight away sets it up. Spike will be going to get planted. Sheydos with aftershock kill. How does that even happen? Koi on top. Do not allow NAVI move in. Not a fly, not a player, not a thing. Just stopping them in their tracks. And Koi will square things up. 13-13.
It's so cute. I'm sorry, it's 13-13. This goofy little, I don't even know what you call it. Blobule is smiling at me. Absolutely love it. But again, it just comes down to who can manufacture a win on attack, like you were saying previously. I'm expecting NAVI to perhaps have some C aggression once again, but we're going to take a bit of a breather. We've had a lot of those this half.
We have, and I think more often than not, Koi's been actually benefiting from them quite a bit, right? Maybe it'd be good to have that stat later on as well, of how impactful they've been after these timeouts, because they really have, right? We've seen on multiple occasions when we get the cams onto the coaches, Baba, he's very animated in the way he thinks of the game. He's very animated when his team is not doing what he wants them to do, or when they succeed. He's got quite a big say on what this team does behind the scenes.
For sure. And I think it's the right call, calling the timeout before you move into the attack, right? You're trying to come up with something a little bit clever, maybe a little bit different, something that'll work for you. Hey, Berlin! Make some noise!
All right, my turn. Never mind, I'm gonna let them show.
Yeah, they're just gonna keep it going.
Yeah.
High energy crowd today, gotta love it. And now, what will it be? So I always am looking at Raze and Breach. Where are they? Where are they holding hands? It's very cute, especially when you get over to the tree, but this time around, it is gonna be the forward TP from cNed, top Rebel. More play up towards B. This again gets problematic with all the stall tools NAVI have at their disposal.
There's so much for NAVI here. Paranoia out into
Ooh,
the
they
corner.
force him off though, that's huge.
Well, now it's one, but starxo's already onto the side! Delivers onto SUYGETSU, repositions, tries to surprise Angel, but isn't able to do so. But it's caused enough time for his team to move into the C side.
The rest of the team was stuck. They couldn't get onto the site with him, so 1-for-1 is good enough. It pulls the rotations from Waterfall. Spike will be planted, and they can try to play forward on site. Playing off site has been a problem for them, so 3 entrenched.
They're switching things up, that's for sure. NAVI need to find their way back in. They've got 2 entrances into this site. They need to balance the timing right.
No smokes to block off CT, though. That's going to hurt.
Well, cNed moving a little bit forwards without his team flashed out. Koi definitely going to delay this right here, right now. Not going to drop back to pay for the denial of the defuse. Instead, Angel walks forwards. koldamenta trading it right out. Trexx to the bike side, makes an appearance, but NAVI starts to win it through. Sheydos tries to save the day, but he cannot do it. And little bro gets his defuse yet again.
NAVI successful in the retake. Huge that they only allowed starxo to get the 1 kill on the B site when this guy was going every which way. He was living in the Matrix, teleporting around that site, up, down, and around. But now the same task given over to NAVI once again, and look at that. Again, this is exactly what you need to be doing, figuring something out. Honestly, if I'm Koi, I'm talking about what our next attack is going to look like here. Forget the defense.
Well, obviously, they mustn't lose this defense, because that's exactly what NAVI are trying to do, right? Try to win their own attack, and this is the second time they find themselves onto this match point, maybe even 3, right? And, you know, when you're given so many opportunities to close out a map, you know, statistically, at some point that opportunity is going to come to you, and they're going to take it.
Oh, yeah. And remember, too, the pressure is absolutely on NAVI, right? They are down in this series after losing Ascent. Yes, they have match point, but they have to fight bitterly for this just for the right to play a 3rd match. This has been a fantastic way to kick off opening day here for the EMEA VCT. Let's keep it going a little bit longer. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, why not? When it's epic Valorant, that's what we came to see, right?
Look, I was promised. I saw Pansy and Hypok, they always got to have the delays. They got to talk longer, you know, which they love, you know? And then they got these insane OTs, the Mitch and Tom OTs. I just want a little bit of all of that, you know?
All in your first session.
Steal it all. Here we go, though. Not going to be the A main fight. Instead, again, it is starxo playing towards Mount. He's been solid as a rock here, I think, throughout the defensive half.
Really has.
Often gotten one and fallen off, or simply TP'd if there's any utility, because oftentimes I think Navi have used multiple flashes, the Sky Flash, the Gecko Flash as well, to try and get in.
The inability of Navi to kill him has definitely been substantial. Like, him being alive in those latter stages and causing so much pressure on this side of the map is giving so much info and room for the rest of the team to move as they please.
Typical protocol for koldamenta here, using the drone around 110, as teams are sort of gearing up before the reset of cooldowns comes in. At the minute mark, 55 seconds usually.
And to be fair, most of the utility hasn't been used from either of the sides.
It's true. It's been a little bit quieter.
Whoa.
Wow. Trexx, I didn't even spot that. Fantastic. Switching into the AWP for the first time. It's the 28th round, and you face against Koi's AWP for the first time.
But this could be the best decision here for Koi, right? For Navi, rather.
Sure.
Because there's only one defending that C site. And starxo can only have the paranoia to try and delay this.
Yeah, but they do reveal with the utility, so it stalls out for a little bit.
Only hits one of the players. starxo has to move out. They're going to play this for the retake, but is it going to be good enough? Because giving so much leisure to Navi is going to be tough to deal with in the long term.
That's all right, though. Sheydos has absolutely everything to fight with. Trexx has the paint shells, too. Oh. It's a trade.
starxo really wants that fight, but has to pay for it as he falls right after that. Wolfen into the fight. Will he walk into the smoke? Oh, it's uncomfortable. With a spike going down, all the attacking players get back into safety, but not in the safety against Wolfen. SUYGETSU, he's hiding. He's sneaky boy.
What a rat.
They're going to walk past
What
him.
a rat.
They don't know he's there. Wolfen finds him. He sniffs him out. And Koi will win it again.
This is the map that just won't stop. Oh, man. Trexx coming in. I can hear our colleagues, the Spanish casters on the opposite side of us, going absolutely nuts here as Wolfen ties things up and forces us into another OT. Absolutely nuts. Good reaction from Wolfen to shut that down, spotting him out in just the corner of his eye.
Now Koi is given another opportunity to win their attacking round, right? They have to do it now. You can't keep giving Navi all these chances to close out this map. Look, they are essentially 2 rounds away from closing out this series.
Yeah.
And what a massive first match of the season would this be?
Be absolutely huge. Bounce back after falling very early in the lock-in. And now, once again, similar to last round, Trexx just implanted over by Rubble. The rest of the team gonna run into similar issues here with all the utility. Actually trying to flush Shao out. They're just forcing through the smoke.
Shao, how was he alive for so long? Gets one, finds info that the rest have moved into this. Zyppan awaiting with a guiding light. He's gonna move in with it.
They're gonna go A.
That's so huge.
Look at this, they're going A.
They're going to the A site.
Trexx was waiting on A this entire round. It was a fake into B. They're trying to pull the rotates off the site. There is Killjoy util here. It's stalling out, but there's plenty of time to put the spike on the ground. And watch starxo. starxo is on the hunt.
He's going on the wraparound, but it seems that Angel is waiting for
Do you
it.
hear
It's a battle
that?
of the controllers. Angel on top. Still 2v3. Koi on the back foot. Navi. They've got a job to do, and that's to defuse the spike. They're waiting for Angel to join in, so they have multiple angles of attack.
They have no idea Zyppan is here. koldamenta's pushed so far forward. They're in position to try and trade off one another.
Guiding light, able to find one, isolating them. Trexx with all to do! SUYGETSU, yet again, shines above the rest. And Navi with another chance to close it.
Both teams are just playing so fast and loose. The crazy decisions on the fly. Right there, Koi waiting to convert off of Trexx's position on the A site. But it doesn't matter. It was the battle of the controllers. As you coined, Angel wins that out. It's a completely different game if Angel falls there. All of a sudden, the 2 remaining players on the defense would be wondering, okay, is this guy, reflanking us? Is he going just back towards main? Like, what is he doing? The pressure would have been too much, and that would have been the round that Koi would steal on the attack, but instead, it's Navi back in the driver's seat once more.
Na'Vi need to take a step back, breathe, close this out like they know how to do.
They're going to fight here. If that dart had gotten a big ping, perhaps they wanted to try and convert off that. Instead, Trexx is going to get so close to play off the concuss.
He's never done this before. This is going to surprise them. Oh, this is going to be huge.
Look at
Avoids
this!
a flash! Oh, but he gets flashed instead! Aftershock to the side with a paranoia. Does a little damage, but no kill.
That setup was gorgeous, but the singular flash, I believe, from Zyppan shut it down completely.
Trexx! And he's out! He's alive! He's done his job.
He gets his and he runs. Koi, numbers advantage once again, expecting maybe the conversion into the B hit. But it's going to be Na'Vi slowly retracing their steps.
Wow. And again, Koi, they've got the numbers. Chill it out. Hold back. No reason to go for fights. They know what to do. They've done it so many times. Even when the pressure is on the highest point, they do the same thing.
Sheydos has snuck all the way back to tree. That's a position I don't think they would expect. He gets the first one. It's absolutely there, and the util raining down.
Massacre.
It's a second kill for Sheydos. The Rolling Thunder is unlocked, and Na'Vi are routed.
Up they go into the sky, but nowhere they go towards no sight. Spike into no man's land. And Koi just bound to close this out and take us to another round of overtime, because that's what they know how to do. They've got this series in their sights, and they want it to be their starxo. Still, with a paranoia available, is able to get himself out of harm's way. Switches up the position just enough to catch him off guard. Humongous. Koi, square things up. Another chance into another overtime.
Switching sides.
The way Koi are piecing together some of these plays, fantastic. Showing a similar look to previously where they tried to contact up a little bit more, just use the dart to clear behind the smoke. And then Trexx was in such a good position to play off of the concuss. The C4 didn't result in a kill because of good counter util on the opposite end. But after that, Sheydos is repositioned over towards tree. Again, absolutely what you need from him to make that site just impenetrable.
Who's going to win this attack?
We'll have to see, because right now, attackers are struggling to control A main. We've actually seen a big pivot, because I don't think we saw a ton of fight for A main up until the very end of regulation, up until OT now. For what it's meant, as C-side's been a little bit softer. The stall did come in, but now the spike should go ahead and go down. 4 players still in position to act on this very quickly.
Ooh, if this is a round for Koi to win, well, if there's a round for Koi to win, this has to be it, right? They don't drop a player. They've got the spike down.
They're far off site too, playing heavy for Mound. They have a drone late to try and clear in.
But all the starts have to align. This is not all of an Angel. Starts off Trexx. The player on site was dealt with quicker than he was ever dealt with before. And they're going to let little buddy to close it out himself.
It did get
shut
half.
down. It didn't get half. No, it didn't.
No.
They still have a lot of utility. Oh, starxo! He's bringing the magic. Shock darts, nano swarms, bullets, lead. Shao, he's solo. A bullet should do it. And a bullet will do just that.
Koi have done it. They won that round on attack.
Switching sides.
Pressure mounting for Na'Vi. Look back, when was the last time they won a round? Round 23 on attack.
Basically 10 rounds ago.
10 rounds ago. And now they've got to do it again.
The first attack round win of OT.
Time up.
It's going to be a play again for A main. Breach raise, ready to go. The dart to clear on back here, but they fight him forward. Perfection from Na'Vi. They saw the read from the previous round. This time they don't give them any time to set up, and Angel wants another.
What a pick from Angel! They just make it look so simple. And now Na'Vi, all they need to do is close it out. Koi went in on attack, Na'Vi say, nah, we can do one better. We can make it look more comfortable, and we can bring it to another round of overtime.
Oh man, even SUYGETSU just threw a nerdy lineup onto where the spike could end up going a little bit later. Potentially just use that to clear off an awkward angle with the box, but they're gonna do their due diligence. No close corners, nothing. They use that molly to clear away. This entire site, it is open, and Wolfen has to find something before the hit comes through.
Sticking the landing surely for Na'Vi should be simple.
Oh, go B. I like this too. The late Viper wall as well.
TP from starxo. How many can he get? It's 2. He's done his job. Wolfen is required to do the same as starxo did. Find 2 kills, but also get the spike defusal as well.
One molly for Angel. He's all the way back over towards the door switch.
He could potentially isolate them. They're not together. But the shorty at close proximity, he has to read it. He has to read it, and he does! But Angel swings on time! In retaliation, 16-16. NAVI are saying no to that. They're in this game, and they want to take it to a third map.
It was the perfect read against Koi right there. Knowing exactly, Koi were trying to run back the exact same strat. This time, they didn't even throw down the Viper Q, right? The smoke didn't come in. They just ran out, blitzed into the front. Who needs util? One Sky Flash, we're probably gonna be fine. Just giga-chatting it.
But wait, that was way too close for comfort.
It was close, but it's because these teams are so good.
I love it.
So evenly matched now on Lotus. And as the more creativity comes out, as these teams are clawing away, attacking round wins, it just gets better and better.
Trexx looking to go aggro. starxo with him. We've seen this approach before. NAVI playing their
This is good.
play.
They don't plant in pit, so they actually have an angle from B main. They also push forward towards CT.
starxo not able to TP on time to find a different angle, but he's pushing with his team. Trexx doubles up to even the field. Shao onto the site though. He's gained so much ground. And Koi no longer have free access to that spike.
7 seconds on that Gecko CD. Then they can try and get this defuse underway. Trexx has backed up so far. He's going to be the knife in the back if it works out. A trade's coming on through.
It's still close. Zyppan coming out on top. NAVI ahead. Sheydos. He's got only a stun to deal with this. Oh, Sheydos! You absolute monster! Bails his team out. Bow to the king! 17 for Koi!
Literally asks for the standing ovation, screams off your feet at the very end. It couldn't be better with the smoke clearing. The double fault line hits. Sheydos is unleashed today.
And that's 3 attacking rounds in a row.
It's a streak now.
It's a streak now, okay.
It's a 30 bomb from both Trexx and Sheydos.
We've reached round 34, but action is not slowing down.
NAVI previously, in their round win, it was a B fake into opening door, running into C. It looked really strong for them. And if they're able to bait out starxo's paranoia, that's what's opened up this C site for them in the past. We'll just refresh the cooldown there on the blind. Kind of a pump fake here is what they need to get that paranoia without overcommitting and putting themselves in harm's way.
Koi definitely wary of NAVI's presence there. The question is by how many players is this push enforced with?
It's true. Right now there's 4. Both Angel playing in mid. Angel has the option. He throws down the wall, which gives up his position, but they can convert into the B site with his positioning.
An exchange of paranoia. Really important. Such a vital tool for starxo to hold down onto the site, but the B site entry is about to approach. Trexx, what a first pick. Can they continue? Spike will be commenced.
Sheydos is util.
Oh, they broke it! No spike plant. Now we have to fight this right here, right now. Wolfen for the first one. cNed, SUYGETSU, back on it. For 20 seconds, they don't have much time. koldamenta putting the pressure on them. cNed holds on. And NAVI equalize once again.
Switching sides.
Koi win the attack, NAVI one up them, Koi do it again, NAVI do it again. Back and forth, blow for blow. These teams down in the pit just throwing punches at one another. And it comes after cNed finds Sheydos, because Sheydos was quick on the rotation. All his util stopped out this hit. It was perfect, but cNed found that same spawn push that Trexx had in the previous round. And that just blows up the retake. Too many points of pressure, you can be shot at. You're just down to the bottom of a fishbowl, and there's too many people shooting down at you. Early orb play, believe that went over towards Zyppan. Could mean something late in round to be able to find a kill, especially lower numbers. The Seekers mean so much more for pinpointing the enemy location.
Koi need to do it again. Oh, look at how much setup here is for NAVI.
Still a paranoia on defense.
Going for them, but they've let the cross happen. Angel loses a fight, that's crucial, so we get to in the smoke. Doesn't really need to reload a Vandal there. cNed replenished.
SUYGETSU with nuts. He had to get that one there because cNed abandoned the site for the heal, and now cNed has returned to the fray.
They don't cover cNed there. They don't expect him to be holding this angle once again, and Trailblazer will allow him to peek once more. Sheydos, he's concussed, and cNed will take advantage of it. Spray down onto him. It takes a while, but he gets up. Koi, they're on the back foot, and NAVI put them in the ground, one after the other, again and again.
Switching sides. Match point.
The crowd's starting to get behind NAVI here. And cNed, fantastic finding those kills. Again, I think it was so important because he abandoned the site to go get a sky heal to request that one. So SUYGETSU getting one, playing inside the smoke, stalling time. It reduced the amount of time Koi had to work with here. Heavy play for control. cNed almost at risk of falling. What is going on?
Trouble, still falling back. 3-player stacked. It could have been deadly. Zyppan, Trailblazer in hand, concusses too. Angel and Shao doing their due diligence, and now they're so darn close to closing it out. They just have to stick the landing.
Taking it into the ice site comfortably. They've spotted out Wolfen. They know the location of one now. Spike will be planted, and there's so many. There's double nano swarms to work with too. Wolfen quiet, dropping down here. He has to go huge.
It's got to have to be a hero play here. There's nothing else that will get them out of this position.
The door's open.
starxo, they don't know him. Can you go for the trigger to Zyppan play? Maybe he can! Misses the mark! Paranoia available. There's a buy time for his teammate. TP behind. Wolfen gets one, but it's not going to be good enough. They need more than that. starxo with another one. Maybe there's a chance. He runs out of time, has to get on the spike. Zyppan is so low. Oh,
the shorty! The shorty!
No way! No way!
starxo gets it done!
No freaking way!
Unbelievable! starxo, the full clip, teleporting behind enemy lines. This is a montage reel of Omen TVs, teeping straight into the face of danger, whipping out the shorty. I can't believe it.
He keeps his team alive. Koi's chance of coming home with a 2-0 against NAVI is still there. Hope still strong in his heart.
The game was over, Pavlos. It was over. A 1 versus 3 time ticking away. And NAVI, it is stolen away from them. NAVI have to fight again into our 37th round. And there's no time to breathe either. The timeouts have been used up.
No, that's it. On the clock, with what you know, adapting on the fly. Having the nerves to deal with a situation, even when the pressure is at its peak.
Koi have identified how they want to play out the rest of these attacking rounds. Pretty quiet into B, just using the drone, maybe seeing if they can bite or bait out any of the Killjoy utility. Meanwhile, they've just left Trexx Rebel every single round, as long as I can remember.
Right here.
Which, to be fair, goes back to like round 31.
Yeah.
I do not have much RAM with me anymore. These teams are working on all they've got, and Trexx just gets a little bit of poke.
NAVI actually going to pressure this. Trailblazer, Paranoia, cNed's going for this. Trexx able to skate away, but not for long. cNed's on this case, while the rest of his team moves into the B side.
They spent so much on to B, now it comes down to control of Blink.
starxo!
Unbelievable. SUYGETSU Angel, what can you do now? Working down into the pit, absolutely nothing. Sheydos is there. Sheydos will take it home. 19 on the board for Koi.
Punching down on NAVI again and again and again. This is their chance. When NAVI's mental is in the dirt.
To dodge away from the Sky Flash there and not just find one, but two. Would have had the third, but he had the assistance of his teammate flying on in at the ready.
starxo topping the charts, and for a good reason. Koi, take this aggressive stance towards this A site. Again, how many times? 1 round away from this first series of VCT EMEA
Oh, they're going quick.
in their bag. They're going fast, they're going quick. starxo misses the first shot, but it doesn't matter because he retaliates. 2 kills for him, Navi none in return.
Navi gambled everything on the fast C hit, and look at this, into spawn, trexx for the first time ever, looking for a flank.
And Navi, they're under pressure. They're not thinking straight. They're not looking behind them. Oh, but SUYGETSU, he saves the day. Maybe there's a chance. There's 1 minute. They need to collect themselves.
Yeah, but the spike is still stuck backside on C. It's a numbers disadvantage. There's util thrown into the smoke.
There's a thinking game here. Do you play time? Do you rotate around? Do you make Koi have more question marks around the map? Try to spread them out a bit.
If you give them any more time, though, Sheydos is going to have the fault line ready, and then you're carved up here in this choke point. They have to act now. They have to act quickly.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Oh, they gave too much.
Available. Sheydos delivers. Navi scratching their head on this one. 30 seconds to try and figure this one out, but it's a difficult puzzle.
They have to go. The smoke is in their way, though. They have nothing to fight their way back on through with. No cooldowns, absolute zilch.
This victory will hit different, I swear. starxo. They're ready. The hero of today's show. Koi have done it. 2-0 against the Goliaths of Navi.